Yemo was weaker than both of them, but his spirit sense was stronger than both of them. The blue-dressed female immortal was Great Extreme Immortal Primary Stage, while that gray-robed immortal was Great Extreme Immortal Middle Stage. Yemo's spirit sense was Great Extreme Immortal Tertiary Stage. Plus his cultivation method was good at stealthing, so the two didn't notice him at all. Yemo was weaker than both of them, but his spirit sense was stronger than both of them. The blue-dressed female immortal was Great Extreme Immortal Primary Stage, while the gray-robed immortal was Great Extreme Immortal Middle Stage. Yemo's spirit sense was Great Extreme Immortal Tertiary Stage. Plus his cultivation method was good at stealthing, so the two didn't notice him at all. For hours later, the Great Extreme Immortal suddenly sped up. The female immortal immediately noticed she was being followed, but at this time, there was no time to get away. The gray-robed, Great Extreme Immortal already stopped the female immortal. Yemo immediately hid on the side. This female immortal helped him once. If possible, he wanted to help her too. When he saw the blue-dressed female immortal stop, she didn't seem to be scared of this Great Extreme Immortal and scanned around instead with her spirit sense. "Why are you following me?" The female immortal stared coldly. "The demon seal sword you bought from the auction is my friend's name a price. I need to take it back." The gray-robed immortal said calmly and released a pitchfork. The female immortal sneered. "You were there at the auction. Do you not know the price? If you have to have it, then give it to me, the price I bought it for." "Impossible, that's my friend's thing. You want me to take it back with the price of the auction?" The gray-robed Great Extreme Immortal's tone went cold. "What has your friend got to do with me? If you want it, then pay me the immortal crystals I paid for it." The blue-dressed female immortal grunted. "Then don't blame me, then." The Great Extreme Immortal shook his pitchfork, turning into rings of shadows looming over at the female immortal. The female immortal didn't fear at all. She shook her hands, shaking out countless blue rings. Yemo couldn't even see what her magic artifact was. The female immortal sneered. "You want the demon seal sword? Don't think I don't know what you want. You want me 3 leave blue ja." Moments later, the blue rings locked the flurry of pitchfork shadows. The space nearby rumbled. The forest below seemed to have been devastated by a tornado. Hearing this, Yemo realized what was going on. 3-leaf blue jia was level 6 immortal spirit herb, used to concoct extreme jia pill. Extreme jia pill is the main pill for Great Extreme Immortal to break through to Great Eternity Immortal. It can increase the chances by 40%. These two were both Great Extreme Immortal. One could imagine how important the 3-leaf blue jia was to them. Seeing the force of the battle, Yemo was shocked. He could kill Great Unity Immortal, but he was certain that he was no match for Great Extreme Immortal now. Even if he wanted to help, he didn't dare to help now. If the difference between the two was too high, he would rather not come out. Rumble! The explosions and tearing immortal essence formed a huge explosion whirlpool in a radius of few kilometers. Luckily, the space of the immortal realm was stable otherwise. With such power, space itself would collapse. Yemo didn't dare to help, but he saw the battle. He thought the female immortal would be weaker than the Great Extreme Immortal, but after fighting for a while, they were evenly matched. The Great Extreme Immortal frowned, clearly not expecting this outcome. The female immortal didn't expect this too. There was a sliver of desperation in her eyes. Yemo knew if he helped now, the Great Extreme Immortal probably would be defeated, but he wasn't going to. Although the female immortal helped him once, he didn't know what sort of person she was. If she was someone to annihilate people to steal information, then it would be no good. Just when Yemo was hesitating, the female immortal took out a rune. That rune instantly released terrifying force. Even at more than 10 kilometers away, Yemo could feel the threat of death. Before Yemo could react, the huge explosion sounded. When Yemo recovered his senses, that female immortal was long gone. Such terrifying rune. Yemo was thinking what he should do if he encountered such rune. Even his immortal nirvana body would be heavily injured under such explosion. The gray-robed, great extreme immortal also disappeared. Was he killed? Thinking about this, Yi Mo immediately felt an extreme sense of danger. Without hesitation, he slashed out with Zisu. Crack! Zisu clashed with the pitchfork. Yi Mo flew back a few hundred meters before stopping. You didn't die? Yi Mo stared at the great extreme immortal. This guy instead found where he was and ambushed him. If this great extreme immortal wasn't heavily injured and he reacted fast, he would be dead now. But Yi Mo wasn't scared much. This great extreme immortal's chi was messy and quite injured. His power was only about great unity immortal now. This great extreme immortal was shocked. He was heavily injured, but even so, he was still equivalent to a great unity immortal tertiary stage. This guy was a mere abstruse immortal middle stage. He didn't kill him in one move. How was this possible? Why did you ambush me? Yi Mo grabbed Zisu and asked coldly, Ambush you? You dare to follow me. Of course I'm going to kill you. The great extreme immortal wasn't certain if Yi Mo followed him. If an abstruse immortal middle stage could follow a great extreme immortal without him noticing, he didn't dare to believe. Yi Mo frowned. I follow you? You're clearly much stronger than me. How can you not notice me following? I just saw people were fighting here, so I came to visit, and then there was an explosion. Seeing Yi Mo deny, the great extreme immortal was confused. He was just guessing before. But regardless, Yi Mo was just an abstruse immortal. He could kill him easily. Feeling the great extreme immortal's killing intent, Yi Mo quickly took out a long sword. One Bei offended Qian Bei. This sword can be my compensation. Level 7 immortal artifact? The great extreme immortal called out in shock. This was top-grade immortal artifact. Even his pitchfork was only a fake level 7. Yi Mo needed this moment of days. Yi Mo released World Rock and tens of Spirit Sense blades. Even though he was wary of Yi Mo, the great extreme immortal didn't expect a mere abstruse immortal middle stage dared to suddenly attack him. Rumble the World Rock turned into a mountain and smashed down. The great extreme immortal could only barely use the pitchfork to stop the World Rock, but his spirit sense slowed and he couldn't release it in time. Crack! The pitchfork was smashed head-on by the World Rock and immediately cracked. However, it still stopped the World Rock. I'm going to tear! The great extreme immortal spat a mouthful of blood and was furious. However, before he finished, Zisu came over. Shadowless attack, splurge. Zisu sliced on the great extreme immortal. This all happened so quickly that the great extreme immortal didn't have any time to react. Even so, Zisu that should have hacked the great extreme immortal in half only left a deep mark on his chest. Die! The great extreme immortal punched Yi Mo's chest. Yi Mo spat a mouthful of blood and flew back, but his immortal nirvana body prevented him from exploding on the spot. Immortal nirvana body? The great extreme immortal who was bloodied said in shock. Yi Mo's immortal essence was rustling around, and he couldn't attack again. The great extreme immortal was heavily injured, but didn't dare to attack Yi Mo again. He quickly ate a few pills and was very worried. He never expected an abstruse immortal middle stage would be this terrifying. If he knew, he would definitely run immediately. Yi Mo's immortal essence was rustling around, and he couldn't attack again. The great extreme immortal was heavily injured, but didn't dare to attack Yi Mo again. He quickly ate a few pills and was very worried. He never expected an abstruse immortal middle stage would be this terrifying. If he knew, he would definitely run immediately. Yi Mo knew he would recover faster than this great extreme immortal, but he didn't dare to let this great extreme immortal recover. If he did, it would be over. Before the pills could even melt, Yi Mo released Lightning Sword. Rumble Lightning Sword rained down incessantly, and at the same time, Yi Mo's immortal essence calmed down. The great extreme immortal was already injured heavily. How could he take on this lightning sword that was more terrifying than divine damnation? If he was at his peak, it wouldn't affect him, but now this was lethal. He barely released a shield. It would break soon, as Yimo's lightning sword seemed endless. The more he was shocked, the more the great extreme immortal realized that he couldn't even run away now. The nearby space was completely locked by Yimo's lightning sword. Yimo's immortal essence gradually recovered. He knew lightning sword wasn't enough to kill a great extreme immortal. He released the world rock once again. At the same time, Yimo made up his mind. The lightning sword was powerful, but it was too scattered. It wasn't able to settle the score. After this, he had to condense it. He needed to focus all the lightning sword into one. He didn't lack large-scale attacks, he lacked lethal blows. Feeling Yimo's rising force, there was a sliver of despair in the great extreme immortal's eyes. Never had he thought he would be killed by an abstruse immortal. Where did such a terrifying, abstruse immortal come from? "I'm going to kill you!" Terrifying force came out. The space nearby shook. It was like a black hole. Yimo couldn't even fly away. Not good. This guy was going to self-destruct. Shadowless noticed this earlier and jumped to Yimo first. There was nothing Yimo could do about this. If it was a great unity, immortal self-destructing, he could forcefully stop it. Instantly, Yimo took Shadowless into the Golden Page world. Rumble, the terrifying explosion, turned everything into nothing. Ripples were startled in the space. Nothing could survive in this explosion. Before the explosion finished, Yimo came out of the Golden Page world. His spirit sense scanned to where the great extreme immortal self destructed. There was a terrifying, huge ravine and nothing else. Yimo sighed. He almost got a great extreme immortal storage ring. Realizing he would get nothing, Yimo left without hesitation. With such a terrifying explosion here, it would definitely attract immortals. In less than 5 minutes, a few dashing lights landed here. "Great extreme immortal self-destruction," a brown-robed immortal said in shock. The few other immortals looked at each other and nodded, instantly leaving. No matter what it was that caused a great extreme immortal to self-destruct, it wasn't something they could mess with. Yimo seemed to be covered in blood, but he recovered quickly. That great extreme immortal's punch was terrifying, but he had an immortal nirvana body, and the great extreme immortal was heavily injured. Now he had pretty much recovered. After finding a distant valley, Yimo changed a set of clothes. Before he could clean himself, 2 more dashing lights came. Yimo immediately hit on the side. These 2 were abstruse immortal tertiary stage. The taller abstruse immortal asked, "Brother me, is it here?" "Yes, look at that small peak. Last time I saw white light dashing into the sky from there. I'm certain that thing is nearby." The other abstruse immortal answered. The tall one frowned and said, "That's the most complicated terrain of the Kongji range. In the depths there are level 4 and even level 5 immortal spirit beasts. It's hard for us to find something." Hearing this, Yimo was surprised. He didn't expect he came to the Kongji range. The 2 spoke for a while and dashed into the depths of the ranges. Yimo didn't come out. He scanned his spirit sense into that jade slip. The more Yimo looked, the more he was excited. He hadn't seen Clear Mind Lotus before, but he knew what it was. It had 2 leaves, and the middle white part was the seed. The lotus didn't grow on the mountain, it was in a lake. The lake was almost 1 km long and floated in the sky. There was a row of words. "Kongji Mountain Clear Lotus, Shi Jinkong left it. If it's not a Shi family descendant who takes it, please take care of the Shi family a little." Crack the jade slip cracked and turned to dust while a jade piece dropped. Yimo looked at this jade piece in annoyance. It seemed to be one that needed to be activated with blood. There were the words Shi Jinkong. Yimo realized what happened. Shi Jinkong found an immature Clear Mind Lotus. For some reason, this jade slip didn't fall into the hands of the Shi family. The image was obscure and made many people think it was broken. but Sir Jinkong did this on purpose. Only those with great eternity immortal spirit sense or higher could see it. Yi Mo's spirit sense wasn't great eternity immortal level, but he had spirit will 9 transformations. Without a doubt, this was left for the descendants of the Shi family. Yi Mo was grateful to Shi Jinkong, but he wasn't going to spend time to find his descendants. Who knew how long Shi Jinkong had been dead for, and who she was? How could he find his descendants? Yi Mo just needed to find the lake now. Yi Mo knew it wasn't easy, but suddenly thinking about the words of the 2 abstruse immortals, one of them said, "White light dashing into the sky." Wasn't that the symptom of the clear mind Lotus about to reach maturity? The second symptom was white mist. When the second symptom came out, almost everyone would know clear mind Lotus was ripe. The Kongji mountain range wasn't small, but if everyone knew the clear mind Lotus was about to mature, even great eternity immortal wouldn't be able to get a share, much less him. Thinking about this, Yi Mo desperately flew towards where the 2 abstruse immortal went. 2 hours later, Yi Mo was completely in the depths of the Kongji range. There was nothing else but thorns. There was no sign of those 2 abstruse immortal, and Yi Mo didn't see any lake either. Yi Mo's immortal essence was rustling around, and he couldn't attack again. The great extreme immortal was heavily injured, but didn't dare to attack Yi Mo again. He quickly ate a few pills and was very worried. He never expected an abstruse immortal middle stage would be this terrifying. If he knew, he would definitely run immediately. Yi Mo's immortal essence was rustling around, and he couldn't attack again. The great extreme immortal was heavily injured, but didn't dare to attack Yi Mo again. He quickly ate a few pills and was very worried. He never expected an abstruse immortal middle stage would be this terrifying. If he knew, he would definitely run immediately. Yi Mo knew he would recover faster than this great extreme immortal, but he didn't dare to let this great extreme immortal recover. If he did, it would be over. Before the pills could even melt, Yi Mo released Lightning Sword. Rumble Lightning Sword rained down incessantly, and at the same time, Yi Mo's immortal essence calmed down. The great extreme immortal was already injured heavily. How could he take on this lightning sword that was more terrifying than divine damnation? If he was at his peak, it wouldn't affect him, but now this was lethal. He barely released a shield. It would break soon, as Yi Mo's lightning sword seemed endless. The more he was shocked, the more the great extreme immortal realized that he couldn't even run away now. The nearby space was completely locked by Yi Mo's lightning sword. Yi Mo's immortal essence gradually recovered. He knew lightning sword wasn't enough to kill a great extreme immortal. He released the world rock once again. At the same time, Yi Mo made up his mind. The lightning sword was powerful, but it was too scattered. It wasn't able to settle the score. After this, he had to condense it. He needed to focus all the lightning sword into one. He didn't lack large-scale attacks, he lacked lethal blows. Feeling Yi Mo's rising force, there was a sliver of despair in the great extreme immortal's eyes. Never had he thought he would be killed by an abstruse immortal. Where did such a terrifying abstruse immortal come from? "I'm going to kill you!" Terrifying force came out. The space nearby shook. It was like a black hole. Yi Mo couldn't even fly away. Not good. This guy was going to self-destruct. Shadowless noticed this earlier and jumped to Yi Mo first. There was nothing Yi Mo could do about this. If it was a great unity immortal self-destructing, he could forcefully stop it. Instantly, Yi Mo took Shadowless into the Golden Page world. Rumble, the terrifying explosion, turned everything into nothing. Ripples were startled in the space. Nothing could survive in this explosion. Before the explosion finished, Yi Mo came out of the Golden Page world. His spirit sense scanned to where the great extreme immortal self destructed. There was a terrifying, huge ravine and nothing else. Yi Mo sighed. He almost got a great extreme immortal storage ring. Realizing he would get nothing, Yi-Mo left without hesitation. With such a terrifying explosion here, it would definitely attract immortals. In less than 5 minutes, a few dashing lights landed here. "Great extreme immortal self-destruction," a brown-robed immortal said in shock. The few other immortals looked at each other and nodded, instantly leaving. No matter what it was that caused a great extreme immortal to self-destruct, it wasn't something they could mess with. Yi-Mo seemed to be covered in blood, but he recovered quickly. That great extreme immortal's punch was terrifying, but he had an immortal nirvana body, and the great extreme immortal was heavily injured. Now he had pretty much recovered. After finding a distant valley, Yi-Mo changed a set of clothes. Before he could clean himself, 2 more dashing lights came. Yi-Mo immediately hit on the side. These 2 were abstruse immortal tertiary stage. The taller abstruse immortal asked, "Brother me, is it here?" "Yes, look at that small peak. Last time I saw white light dashing into the sky from there. I'm certain that thing is nearby." The other abstruse immortal answered. The tall one frowned and said, "That's the most complicated terrain of the Kongji range. In the depths there are level 4 and even level 5 immortal spirit beasts. It's hard for us to find something." Hearing this, Yi-Mo was surprised. He didn't expect he came to the Kongji range. The 2 spoke for a while and dashed into the depths of the ranges. Yi-Mo didn't come out. He scanned his spirit sense into that jade slip. The more Yi-Mo looked, the more he was excited. He hadn't seen Clear Mind Lotus before, but he knew what it was. It had 2 leaves, and the middle white part was the seed. The lotus didn't grow on the mountain, it was in a lake. The lake was almost 1 km long and floated in the sky. There was a row of words. "Kongji Mountain Clear Lotus, Shi Jinkong left it. If it's not a Shi family descendant who takes it, please take care of the Shi family a little." Crack the jade slip cracked and turned to dust while a jade piece dropped. Yi-Mo looked at this jade piece in annoyance. It seemed to be one that needed to be activated with blood. There were the words Shi Jinkong. Yi-Mo realized what happened. Shi Jinkong found an immature Clear Mind Lotus. For some reason, this jade slip didn't fall into the hands of the Shi family. The image was obscure and made many people think it was broken. But Shi Jinkong did this on purpose. Only those with great eternity immortal spirit sense or higher could see it. Yi-Mo's spirit sense wasn't great eternity immortal level, but he had spirit 9 transformations. Without a doubt, this was left for the descendants of the Shi family. Yi-Mo was grateful to Shi Jinkong, but he wasn't going to spend time to find his descendants. Who knew how long Shi Jinkong had been dead for, and who she was? How could he find his descendants? Yi-Mo just needed to find the lake now. Yi-Mo knew it wasn't easy, but suddenly thinking about the words of the 2 abstruse immortals, one of them said, "White light dashing into the sky." Wasn't that the symptom of the Clear Mind Lotus about to reach maturity? The second symptom was white mist. When the second symptom came out, almost everyone would know Clear Mind Lotus was ripe. The Kongji mountain range wasn't small, but if everyone knew the Clear Mind Lotus was about to mature, even great eternity immortal wouldn't be able to get a share, much less him. Thinking about this, Yi-Mo desperately flew towards where the 2 abstruse immortal went. 2 hours later, Yi-Mo was completely in the depths of the Kongji range. There was nothing else but thorns. There was no sign of those 2 abstruse immortal, and Yi-Mo didn't see any lake either. A day later, Yi-Mo still didn't find the 2 abstruse immortal, but he encountered a level 4 immortal spirit beast. If he wasn't far stronger than ordinary abstruse immortals, he would have died to the beast already. This made Yi-Mo suspect whether those 2 abstruse immortals were eaten by immortal spirit beasts. A day later, Yi-Mo still didn't find the 2 abstruse immortal, but he encountered a level 4 immortal spirit beast. If he wasn't far stronger than ordinary abstruse immortals, he would have died to the beast already. This made Yemo suspect whether those two abstruse immortals were eaten by immortal spirit beasts. 3 days later, Yemo still hadn't found the two abstruse immortals nor the lake. He was very disappointed. Just when he wanted to give up, he thought of Shadowless. In the Mist Demon Palace, it was because of Shadowless that he found the place. Thinking about this, Yemo immediately let Shadowless out and told Shadowless he wanted to find the Clear Mind Lotus. He even showed Shadowless what it looked like. Shadowless didn't disappoint Yemo. He immediately took Yemo around the twists and turns and found 11 level 3 immortal spirit herbs and 3 level 4 immortal spirit herbs. Another day passed, and Yemo stopped at a crevice. He had been here once, but he found this place was different. This crevice was natural, and crossing it would bring him to the other side of the valley. Over countless years, quite some immortals must have passed through here, but Yemo found that the weeds and low-level immortal spirit herbs seemed fresher here. Yemo carefully scanned his spirit sense here, and soon found that there was a battle here. The fresh, low-level immortal spirit herbs were cultivated by magic to cover the traces of the battle. After reaching this conclusion, Yemo's heart skipped rapidly. Looking at these immortal spirit herbs, they were just cultivated a few days ago. This was in accordance with the time the two abstruse immortals came in. They fought a battle and still used means to cover up here. The only possibility was that there was some stealth formation here. Yemo began to search this place inch by inch, but half a day later he still found nothing. With his near level 4 formation great master skill, he still couldn't see what was here. How did the two abstruse immortals see something? Suddenly, Shadowless sent him a strong message. Yemo immediately came to where Shadowless told him to go. There was a huge boulder here. If one didn't look carefully, he wouldn't be able to see what was special about this. Yemo noticed that the immortal spirit chi below here was extremely dense. Yemo carefully moved the rock, and the space nearby immediately changed. Yemo moved the stone back, and the space returned to what it was. Natural formation! Yemo was overjoyed. This was a natural high-level stealth formation. Yemo moved that huge rock, and the natural formation showed before him. With Yemo's formation skills, he easily found the formation door and disappeared within the crevice. After going in, dense immortal spirit chi came, and a faint mist hovered above his eyes. Before Yemo could see clearly, an extremely strong smell came before him. Without hesitation, Yemo smashed with the world rock. A sharp shriek sounded. A black figure was smashed away and instantly disappeared in this mist. This was a level 4 immortal spirit beast that wanted to ambush Yemo. Yemo didn't have the mood to check up on that level 4 immortal spirit beast. He stared dazedly at the white lotus before him. Clear Mind Lotus, Yemo saw it clearly. 2 crisp green leaves decorating the snow-white lotus seed in the center. It floated above a lake surrounded by mist. It released extremely beautiful luminosity. This place wasn't a lake, but actually the surface of extremely dense immortal spirit chi. Yemo really wanted to move the lake into his golden page world, but when he looked around at the natural formation, he gave up this idea. If he really did this, the nearby area would collapse and might bring immortal kings to check it out. Yemo scanned his spirit sense around and didn't see the abstruse immortals who came in before. It seemed they were killed by the level 4 immortal spirit beast. Without hesitation, Yemo came to the Clear Mind Lotus and used an extremely large jade box to collect the lotus. As for the root, Yemo didn't touch it. This was the best place to grow the Clear Mind Lotus. Perhaps countless years later, a new Clear Mind Lotus would form. Yemo didn't stay here any longer and left. Half a day later, Yemo came back to his cultivation home. Zhan Bingyu still seemed to be in cultivation. Yemo was very satisfied with coming to Zongpiao Heaven. He got Spirit Will 9 transformations and the Clear Mind Lotus. Zhan Bingyu would definitely be overjoyed to recover. This was even something of the dreams for Yemo. Yemo knew that after Zhan Bingyu could recover, he would be leaving alone. He knew that the cultivation resources he needed weren't something ordinary people could afford. When other people got large sums of cultivation resources, they could find a place to go into solitary cultivation, but he couldn't. He had to keep going around searching for top-grade resources. It was because of this that he cared so much about the Blue Lightning Immortal Well and used all his means to go to the Pingpiao Plains to slaughter demonic immortal spirit beasts, so he could reach the top 50. "You're back." As soon as Yemo came in, Zhen Bingyu greeted him. She saw Yemo seemed to be in a good mood and had a smile on his face. Her dejected mood lightened up quite a bit. She knew that Yemo arranged her to stay here, but he didn't cultivate here because he wanted to leave the city. But she had been used to staying with Yemo, and now that she stayed alone in the cultivation home, she couldn't settle her mind. Just thinking that Yemo was about to leave alone, she was full of anxiety. "Come with me." Yemo pulled Jin Bingyu into the cultivation room. Guess what happened this time? Yemo smiled at Jin Bingyu. "Are you planning to leave the city after the Blue Lightning Mountain opens?" Jin Bingyu asked dejectedly instead. When Yemo rented this place for 10 years, she knew that Yemo wouldn't be taking her. She could feel it. Yemo still had a lot of secrets, and he didn't seem to want to expose these secrets in front of her, so it was inconvenient to take her. Yemo found the clear-mind Lotus. He came back to bring joy to Zhen Bingyu. Zhen Bingyu stayed all these years with him. So even though she didn't express the loneliness in the depths of her heart, Yemo understood it. He did indeed plan to find a place to reach Great Unity Immortal and leave the city in search of new cultivation resources. But he was caught off guard by her question. Zhen Bingyu's personality changed a little after staying with Yemo, but in her bone, she was still a cold woman. Zhen Bingyu's personality changed a little after staying with Yemo, but in her bone, she was still a cold woman. Hearing Yemo's word, she sighed and suddenly took off her dress and walked up to Yemo, hugging him. "I know I owe you a lot, but I may never be able to repay you. Before you go, you can have my body, my virginity essence, and something else." Yemo didn't know what the other thing was, but he never intended to cultivate with Jin Bingyu. Marshall's sister Bingyu? Wait, Yemo quickly pushed her away, but when her hands touched Jin Bingyu's silky skin, he dazed for a moment. He had seen Jin Bingyu naked before, and even helped her dress and carry her around everywhere, but he had never had any emotions for her. Zhen Bingyu was indeed pretty, even a little prettier than Susu. But Zhen Bingyu wasn't his woman. The moment he ascended to the immortal realm, he wouldn't have any more woman in his heart. But Yemo only dazed for a brief moment and pushed Jin Bingyu away. "Marshall's sister Bingyu, you misunderstood me." Zhen Bingyu looked at Yemo in confusion, but didn't get angry. To her, doing that thing with Yemo was to satisfy his lust and pay back what she owed him. Although she was a little curious what it would feel, but it didn't mean she liked doing that. "Didn't you say your Tao heart was different to mine?" Zhen Bingyu couldn't resist asking. Yemo rubbed his forehead. "Marshall's sister Bingyu, that doesn't mean this. I'm saying that thing can only be done between people who love each other. I already have people I love, so even if I'm going to do it, it would be with them, not you." So Zhen Bingyu smiled. That smile was enough to make any woman lose confidence. Even Yemo sighed. If this woman smiled more, she would be beautiful to the extreme. "Them? Is I because you love a lot of people?" Zhen Bingyu asked plainly. Yemo felt his nose awkwardly. "Yes, they're a part of my life. I ascended to the immortal realm first, partly for them." "Then would you have any more?" Zhen Bingyu frowned and asked. Yemo shook his head no. Yemo didn't explain anything. He indeed wouldn't be interested in any other woman anymore, even Zhen Bingyu. Although his Tao heart was different to Jin Bingyu, but it was very firm. For him, the people around him, he needed to reach the peak of Tao. "I know that after you leave this time, we might never be able to see each other again. So, I really want to give the only thing I can give to you. My spirit root is dissolved. I would never have an opportunity this lifetime. If the spirit root can still be repaired, then... Yemo smiled and pulled her dress up, other than saying goodbye today. I came to cure your spirit root, so you can cultivate again. What? Jin Bingyu was dazed. Her mind was blank. If other people said this, she wouldn't believe it all, but Yemo said this. She trusted it 100% already. Yemo had never lied to her all these years. It's true because I got the clear mind lotus. Yemo set up a few restriction and took out a jade box. The snow-white lotus was in the middle, and a faint, refreshing aroma came. Jin Bingyu was dumbfounded. It really was clear mind lotus. She had never expected Yemo would be able to find it. With this, it meant that her future accomplishment would be far greater than before. Not only would her spirit root be repaired, it would also be upgraded. With Yemo's body refinement cultivation method and 3-birth Godwater chant, Zhan Bingyu didn't dare to think what level she would reach. Yemo didn't say anything and just waited on the side. He knew Zhan Bingyu needed time to absorb this information. After a long while, Zhan Bingyu came back to her sense. She stared at Yemo with fiery eyes and felt her heart was wavering. Who else would give her this other than her dearest family? Much less Yemo. They were just using each other. The only dearest person, she AHD, was her master. Yemo, Zhan Bingyu murmured and couldn't control the excitement in her heart and embraced Yemo. The first time it was to thank Yemo, as she knew she didn't have long to live. Yemo was going to leave. But this time, she really couldn't control it now. It wasn't just for this clear mind lotus. They were just a team, and she forced Yemo to team up with her. After she was heavily injured, Yemo didn't abandon her. He took her into the Heaven Domain ship, took her to the void to find void flying snow, and then went off alone to search for clear mind lotus. She realized that if she didn't recover, Yemo wasn't going to abandon her. Her Tao heart was firm, but even so, a mark was made on it, feeling Zhan Bingyu's body growing warmer. Yemo also felt some fire in his heart, but he soon calmed down. He couldn't take the feelings. If he slept with her, he wouldn't be able to remove her from his life. Plus, he didn't fall in love with Zhan Bingyu. Calm down first. Recover your spirit root. I'm indeed going, but if you don't recover, I can't leave assured. Yemo patted Zhan Bingyu's shoulder. He knew that if a firm-hearted woman like Zhan Bingyu fell in love, it was uncontrollable. The current Zhan Bingyu wasn't the real her. She lost her immortal essence, and her Tao heart was loose. If this continued, her Tao heart would be ruined, and it wasn't good for the both of them. I understand. Zhan Bingyu slowly calmed down and stared at Yemo answering. She knew Yemo stopped her breaking Tao heart. She was very grateful. After Yemo left, she would go out to search for her great Tao. If one day she could stand at the peak, she would go find Yemo and tell him the feeling of that instant. If she can't even reach great Tao, everything else would be pointless to bring up. Taking over the clear mind lotus, Zhan Bingyu didn't say thank you. She knew Yemo didn't need that. The lotus turned into a mortal liquid that Zhan Bingyu slowly consumed. Zhan Bingyu sat and didn't move. A calm mist emitted from her body, enveloping her in an aroma. Meanwhile, her power rose slowly. Yemo knew Zhan Bingyu's power was beginning to recover. Her spirit root was not only repaired, but purifying. From foundation establishment state to golden core state, and in a short while, Zhan Bingyu was at Hollow Immortal. The immortal spirit Qi gathered above her head and turned into immortal essence, nourishing her meridians and dantian. Yemo didn't stay here. He didn't know if Zhan Bingyu would regain her past Tao heart, but he knew she had her path, and so did he. Yemo left a storage ring before Zhan Bingyu, and quietly left her cultivation room and this cultivation home. He wouldn't be coming back here, at least not for a few years. Zhan Bingyu slowly opened her eyes. A long-gone sense of power came. She was only abstruse immortal primary stage before, but after changing her cultivation method and using the clear mind lotus, her power rose to abstruse immortal primary stage. The nirvana succeeded too. She reached immortal nirvana body. For the first time, Zhan Bingyu couldn't resist tearing. She thought she had completely lost hope, but Emo brought her such powerful hope. She immediately wanted to find Emo, but found Emo wasn't in the cultivation room. There was only a storage ring before her. There was a troubled feeling in her heart. She couldn't express this feeling. She hadn't fallen in love before. She didn't know if this was that feeling. She scanned her spirit sense in the storage ring. Emo left the flying snow orb. There was even 3 great unity immortal pills and tens of bottles of other pills. These pills saved her countless years. Emo deigned even take away all the beast cores. He left behind 2 million worth of contribution points. Zhan Bingyu walked to the cultivation home door and stared at the road that she walked over with Emo a few days ago. This was the final day before the Blue Lightning Immortal Well opened. The biggest square, Blue Lightning Square, was full of people. There were more people than usual. This was the final day before the Blue Lightning Immortal Well opened. The biggest square, Blue Lightning Square, was full of people. There were more people than usual. People who had some inside knowledge knew this time was different, as 3 of the big 10 immortal kings of Zhongpiao Heaven came. This included Su Huan Immortal King, Kaifeng Immortal King, and Ping Zhou Immortal King. There were few immortal kings in Zhongpiao Heaven, yet 3 came this time. Clearly something was about to happen. Emo was sitting in a spirit rest tower on the side of the square, drinking. His only purpose here was to wait for the immortal well to open and then leave. He was also watching the leaderboard, trying to ensure that he wouldn't be falling below top 50. He asked other people and knew that the Heaven Immortal leaderboard was very stable. But now, Emo realized it was utter bullshit. His rank went from 30 or so down to 41st. Now he was 47th. If things continued like this, he would definitely end up below 50. Luckily, he prepared 3 million contribution points of beast cores. But Emo didn't use them now. He would use it as soon as he went below 50. Emo had been sitting in here for half a day, but he didn't ask about what was happening. It had nothing to do with him. However, on a table not far from him, a few immortals' discussion caught his attention. One of them spoke of his name. It seems that even if that Mo-ing didn't cheat, I wouldn't be able to get into the top 50. I was 51st, but now I'm 63rd. A white-faced abstruse immortal tertiary stage said with great disappointment. 3 other people sat on his table. An extremely pretty and seductive female immortal. She was abstruse immortal tertiary stage 2. The other 2 was one long-bearded and the second dark-skinned. They were all abstruse immortal tertiary stage. Yeah, the Heaven Immortal leaderboard has never been so strange. It's the last few days, but the rankings are so volatile. Look, even Suji, who was first, is now 27th. The female immortal frowned. Something is probably going to happen in the immortal city, right? The dark-skinned abstruse immortal said. But what has that got to do with the leaderboard? The long-bearded abstruse immortal shook his head. Hua Mountain, look at the notice! The dark-skinned abstruse immortal pointed at the notice board next to the leaderboard. Emo saw the notice too. After the opening of the immortal well this time, the top 50 of the Heaven Immortal leaderboard will be representing Zhongpiao Heaven to go to Yuanla Heaven and participate in the Dao-seeking competition. Isn't Yuanla Heaven the number 1 heaven domain of the Middle Heaven domains? It's said to be equivalent to a Grand Heaven domain. I heard that the Dao-seeking tournament was the top 50 of the abstruse immortal rank. Why did it become contribution rank this time? Is there a difference? Which of the top 50 on the contribution leaderboard isn't from the abstruse leaderboard? But Yuanla Heaven is too strong. It said that even if you could go before, rarely could people enter Tao-seeking tower. How can the Yuan-Lu heaven not be strong with the Tao-seeking tower? Even some grand heaven domain immortals want to go to Tao-seeking tower. If you entered Tao-seeking tower, it would be you would definitely become great immortal and have 10% extra chance of reaching Immortal King. No wonder so many people want top 50 this time. I want to go to Yuan-Lu heaven's Tao-seeking tower. I'd be willing to pay any price. Yi Mo didn't expect this turn of events. He knew Yuan-Lu heaven, of course. It was said that it was on par with ordinary grand heaven domains. It was the most powerful middle heaven domain. Yi Mo only knew it was powerful, but not why it was powerful. Now it seemed to be due to that Tao-seeking tower. He would go ask someone what it was later. In order to ensure that the prodigies of Zongpiao heaven aren't left out, the contribution leaderboard from 51st to 100th can challenge the top 50. Each person only has one chance to challenge. If the defender loses, he would lose his spot to the challenger. The defeated don't get any opportunity to challenge again. A successful defender will not be challenged again. But a challenger who succeeds needs to accept one more challenge if challenged. The eventual top 50 can cultivate in the Immortal Well for half a year before representing Zongpiao Heaven in the Tao-seeking tower tournament. Yi Mo saw his rank go down to 53rd, but he wasn't worried. He just needed to be in top 100. No wonder the leaderboard changes so fast. They all want to go to Yuan-Lu heaven, the female immortal said. Then she thought of something and said to that white-faced abstruse immortal, Zhenghong brother, you still have a chance. As long as you're in the top 100, you can challenge the 50th. You can challenge that Mo-ing guy. He Mo-ing, look, his name has fallen below top 50 already, the long-bearded abstruse immortal said. The white-faced abstruse immortal laughed. I didn't expect I still had a chance. Let these people cheat. I'll greet them on the battle stage. Yi Mo didn't care about what they said. He walked up to an abstruse immortal middle stage and saluted with his fists. Friend, may I ask what that Tao-seeking tower is? The abstruse immortal looked at Yi Mo in confusion, wondering why someone didn't know what the Tao-seeking tower was. But he quickly said, there are 9 levels to the Tao-seeking tower. It said that immortals can create their own Tao art and God art. The laws of the universe are gathered in the Tao-seeking tower. Immortals can easily combine all they've learnt into their own God art. Yet it's because the Tao-seeking tower is so insane and all the prodigies in Yuan-Lu heaven can go there that Yuan-Lu heaven is stronger than other heaven domains. But luckily, there's a Tao-seeking tower tournament every 1,000 years. Otherwise, the other heaven domains would only be getting worse and worse. One abstruse immortal said. The first abstruse immortal shook his head. Although Yuan-Lu heaven's power is directly related to the Tao-seeking tower, its cultivation resource and immortal spirit chi isn't something other heaven domains can compare with. They didn't become the number 1 middle heaven domain due to luck. Yi Mo quickly asked, why are there 9 levels of the Tao-seeking tower? The abstruse immortal said, the 9 levels are based on each person's understanding of Tao. Usually, hollow immortals can only stay at level 1. If a hollow immortal can reach level 2, he would be a prodigy amongst prodigy. Abstruse immortal usually stay at level 3, rarely can one reach level 4. Can the immortals of Yuan-Lu heaven go to Tao-seeking tower at any time? Of course not. Only a few rare prodigies can go in or once you satisfy some requirements. What's the requirements? That I don't know, but I only know it's not easy. Although there's 50 from Zongpiao heaven going there. But it would be extremely lucky if 1 or 2 of them can even get in. Hearing this, Yi Mo realized that the Tao-seeking tower was pretty much made for him. Yi Mo felt his lightning sword could slaughter large amounts of low-level enemies, but against people who were stronger than him in cultivation level, it couldn't settle the score. He felt it last time when he fought that great extreme immortal. He wanted to go into solitary cultivation to refine his lightning sword, This Tao-seeking tower was perfect for him. Yemo felt his lightning sword could slaughter large amounts of low-level enemies, but against people who were stronger than him in cultivation level, it couldn't settle the score. He felt it last time when he fought that great extreme immortal. He wanted to go into solitary cultivation to refine his lightning sword. This Tao-seeking tower was perfect for him. Other than his lightning sword, his illusion cloud sword technique was the same. Although he lacked the ninth strike, Yemo knew it was because he was at a bottleneck and didn't want to create a ninth strike. His illusion cloud sword technique also needed to form into a god art. Otherwise, he would have some difference between top masters. That Yan Jiutian gave Yemo a strong warning bell. As for the world rock, it was worse. He just used his immortal essence and spirit sense to smash. Yemo also realized later that the reason his world rock wasn't as strong as Yan Jiutian's black mist wasn't because his world rock was weak, but that his world rock didn't have its own god art while Yan Jiutian's mist was a god art. Yemo had made up his mind that he must go to the Tao-seeking tower. As more and more immortals came to the blue lightning square, the immortals sitting in the Spirit Rest Tower also rushed down. From others' discussion, Yemo just realized that the tournament for going into the Blue Lightning Immortal Well had begun. Yemo left the Immortal Rest Tower as well and put all his beast cores into the contribution jade card. He didn't need to save beast cores now. If he was squeezed out of top 50, he would fight for a spot. A few million contribution points were thrown into the jade card. Yemo's jade card immediately became 14 million. Yemo noticed his name. His rank rose from 53rd to 21st. It didn't seem he needed to challenge anyone now. He just needed to accept someone's challenge and he would be in the top 50. Everyone was watching the leaderboard right now. Mo Ing suddenly rose to 21st and immediately caught everyone's attention. Who is this guy? How come I've never heard of him? I saw him before. He only got on the leaderboard in these few months. A month ago, his name drastically rose up. He did it again this time. Just how many immortal crystals did he spend on buying beast cores? Without a doubt, he's the disciple of a powerful being, or he has a powerful sect behind him. Perhaps he's the young master. Don't challenge this person. Even if you beat him, who knows if people would come looking for trouble with you? Yeah, such a person isn't ordinary. It's 20 immortal crystals a contribution point. Now it's 80 to 100 a contribution point. Who can afford this many beast cores at such a time? Hearing these discussions, Yemo shook his head. He had no support. He got all of his beast cores from his hard work. Just when he wanted to change places, Yemo heard a loud explosion. A few immortals landed on the stage. Yemo looked at the abstruse immortal primary stage next to him and asked, "Who are these people? They don't seem ordinary." The immortal saw Yemo's cultivation level was higher than his and quickly said, "Friend, you just got to Zongpiao Heaven, right? The person wearing the gray hair tie is the #1 master of Zongpiao Heaven abstruse immortals. Ouyang Yi. He's the first of the Zongpiao Heaven abstruse rank. He can definitely get a spot in the Tao-seeking tournament." Yemo looked at Ouyang Yi's name, 7th on the contribution ranking. The one standing behind him wearing blue robes is the 4th of the abstruse rank, Chu Xiangzi. The female immortal next to Ouyang Yi is the purple rain goddess. She's not only the top beauty of Zongpiao Heaven, but also 2nd on the abstruse ranking. See that abstruse immortal with a long sword on his back? He's Suji abstruse, rank #9. This abstruse immortal primary stage was clearly proud of these people and admired them. Chu Xiangzi was contribution ranking #1. Suji was originally 1st on the contribution ranking, but now he was almost 30. Purple Rain Goddess was ranked 9th on the contribution ranking. It seemed they didn't care about the contribution ranking at all. To them, they could get whatever rank they wanted. These abstruse immortals were at least abstruse immortal tertiary stage. Most of them were peak stage. There was not a single abstruse immortal middle stage like Yemo. A few more dashing lights came and through this abstruse immortal primary stage. Yemo knew that they were also ranked ahead on the abstruse ranking. Pretty much all the people on the abstruse ranking came. Ouyang-E and Purple Rain Goddess seemed prideful. Yemo could feel the superiority coming from the bottom of their hearts. As though standing here wasn't their honor, but the honor of the Blue Lightning Square. Yemo could tell this superiority was probably due to their background. Perhaps they were from status immortal sections. Chu Xiangzi and Su Ji seemed calm. They didn't act like they were superior. Especially that Su Ji. Yemo felt he had more potential than Ouyang-E. That long sword hanging behind his back didn't seem ordinary too. People who were similar gathered together. Immortals were the same too. The top 10 of the abstruse immortals formed their own circle. The great unity immortals formed their own circle too. Solo cultivators like Yemo or the lowest abstruse immortals could only listen into them talking. Even if you added something, people would ignore you. Yemo didn't want to participate in such high talks. Yemo walked around the square. There were quite some shops and stalls, but not a single thing he was interested in. Despite this, he did buy quite some maps of the 11 Middle Heaven domains. Half a day passed quickly as more and more people came. 3 rainbow clouds landed in the center of the square. Yemo couldn't tell their exact power, but he was certain they were immortal kings. Any one of them could kill him with a finger. This feeling made Yemo very annoyed. He calmed himself down and cast these thoughts aside. The square fell silent as the 3 immortal kings came. Yemo had seen one of them, the green-robed Su Huan immortal king. The other 2 would probably be Kai Feng and Ping Zhou immortal king. Standing in front of Su Huan immortal king was a white-robed immortal king. His face was square, and he seemed to be the head of the 3 immortal kings. He nodded to the immortals before waving his hand, and a yellow light was released. The yellow light instantly turned into a huge stage, and the 3 immortal kings were on the stage now. The white-robed immortal king then said, "I believe everyone knows me. I'm Zongpiao Heaven Kai Feng immortal king. Other than the Blue Lightning immortal, well, I came here for a more important thing, and that is the Yuan Le Heaven Dao Seeking Tournament." Kai Feng immortal king sighed. "We from Zongpiao Heaven have always been participating in Yuan Le Heaven's Dao Seeking Tournament. But only one person has truly gone in the Dao Seeking Tower, and that was me. Pity, I could only stay around level 3 at the time. I can say that the reason I could become Immortal King was due to the great help from Dao Seeking Tower. So, I believe everyone now knows just how much help the Dao Seeking Tower has for cultivation." The square immediately burst into discussion. There were billions of immortals, but which one of them could break through to Immortal King? Kai Feng waved his hand. "Calm down, everyone." The scene fell silent immediately. Kai Feng nodded. "But the Dao Seeking Tower is the #1 Dao Tower of Yuan Le Heaven. Even people from Yuan Le Heaven need to be selected to go in, much less us. Yuan Lu Heaven gave the other Middle Heaven domains 500 spots. We have 50 spots. The tournament is very hard, but even if one person gets in, I would be very happy." Top 50 Tournament. Top 50 Tournament. Su Huan, Immortal King, got up and said, "There are 11 Middle Heaven domains. Although each heaven domain is boundless and even immortal kings can't reach many corners, but combined, there can be 30 people who go in the Dao Seeking Tower. In the countless years of Zongpiao Heaven, no one has been able to enter other than Kai Feng, Immortal King. Every time we go to Yuan Le Heaven, we speak quieter than other immortal kings. So, we hope someone can shine out in the tournament and bring some honor to Zongpiao Heaven, even if it's just 30 to each." All the immortals in the square looked down in shame. However, those in the abstruse ranking had firm-looking eyes, clearly planning to get into the top 30. Su Huan, Immortal King, changed the topic. "The 50 abstruse immortals going into the immortal well will be the people going to Yuan Le Heaven. I believe everyone knows the rules now. Let the match begin. From 51st to 100th, any of you can challenge the top 50. Then Su Huan, Immortal King, and the other two Immortal King left the stage. Two floating rankings appeared above the stage. The left one was top 50, and the right one was 51st to 100th. Each challenge, the names on the two sides could switch. Yi Emo looked at his name. It was still 21st. He wasn't worried. He didn't fear anyone who challenged him. Just when everyone was thinking when the challenge would begin, a short, fat, abstruse, immortal peak stage flew to the stage and saluted with his fists. Heaven Immortal Sex Gong, you ranked 73, th challenges 50th Luo Xiang. Although the contribution points ranking had nothing to do with power, those ranked really high would indeed be much stronger. As soon as this voice sounded, a chiseled face abstruse immortal landed on the stage. Luo Xiang accepts your challenge. Then he sliced out with his word. Gong Yu was prepared, released a black mace bringing dark rays everywhere and clashing with Luo Xiang's sword light. There were Immortal King restrictions on the stage, so no matter how much the two fought, the stage was very sturdy. Luo Xiang's sword rays hacked on the stage, but couldn't even make any marks. The two's immortal essence was evenly matched. About an hour later, the mace's dark rays loosened. Gong Yu seemed to be unable to last long. Indeed, in half a minute, Gong Yu was hacked away by Luo Xiang's sword light. A wound came from his shoulder to his lower waist. I admit defeat. Gong Yu immediately got off the stage. Luo Xiang stopped attacking and quickly ate a pill it left. He was a defender, and thus kept his top 50 spot. First round, Luo Xiang wins, a great eternity immortal said. The next to get on was a bald-headed abstruse immortal. He immediately said, Heaven Immortal Sect Contribution Rankings, 50, First Me, Hua Challenges, 47th, Li Nuohua. You took what was mine, now give it back. The bald-headed abstruse immortal was full of killing intent. From his tone, the people realized that Li Nuohua probably stole me was rank through cheating. An angry-looking female immortal landed on the stage. Li Nuohua accepts your challenge. The female immortal attacked faster than Luo Xiang and released a golden cloth before she finished talking. She's stage was illuminated in gold. Some weaker heaven immortals couldn't even look with their eyes. The light was too piercing. I'm not scared of you. Mi Huo roared and his black staff turned into a black dragon. It was obvious that Mi Huo was much stronger than that Gong Yu. In 5 minutes, Li Nuohua was struck in the back by the dragon's tail and spat a mouthful of blood falling off the stage. Yi Emo could tell that heavy injury was intentional. If she didn't do that, she might die. Mi Huo came up with killing intent. Second round, Mi Huo's victory, top 50 defender. The great eternity immortal announced. Mi Huo would still need to fight again if challenged. Yi Emo knew that it would be best to challenge Mi Huo now if someone wanted to. Mi Huo was also injured a little in the fight. The other immortals could clearly see this too. Before Mi Huo stood steady, an abstruse immortal peak stage got up. Heaven Immortal Sect Contribution, ranking 64th, Ji Xing challenges 47th, Mi Huo. Ji Xing also attacked with his magic artifact immediately. Mi Huo could barely block it, but Ji Xing pursued the attack. Blood splashed on the stage. Kai Feng, Immortal King, shook his head. This method was a good tactic, but it was low. Even if Ji Xing won, he wouldn't get very far and his future wouldn't be that great. Yi Emo believed the same. But different than Kai Feng, Immortal King, Yi Emo felt Ji Xing's future wouldn't be huge, not because he used this tactic, but due to his mentality. Ji Xing just wanted every little advantage he could and didn't have a heart of pursuit. If it was him, he might use this way to beat Mi Huo. But his goal wasn't this victory, but to go into Blue Lightning well to cultivate. Yi Emo would use everything possible for his cultivation, but Ji Xing just purely wanted to use this advantage to beat Mi Huo. Yi Emo couldn't feel any perseverance towards cultivation on him. In a short while, Mi Huo was heavily injured. Looking at his hateful eyes, Yi Emo knew that there was an extra person on this guy's must-kill list now. Third round, Ji Sheng's victory, defender top 50. Brother Zhenghong, I suggest you don't challenge that Moing. Even without him, you would fall below the top 50. Now that Yi Mo can stay at 21st, he definitely has the support of his sect. The skinny, abstruse immortal was trying to persuade Ji Zhenghong. Never mind, I just want to rank. I'll let that Moing be happy for now. When I have a chance, I won't let this person go. Ji Zhenghong nodded. After 30 rounds, no one challenged Yi Mo. Yi Mo knew that this was due to no one knowing him. If someone knew that 21 STMOing was an abstruse immortal middle stage, in less than a second someone would challenge him. 2 days later, the challenges were over and the top 50 were decided. Everyone knew this tournament wasn't completely fair, but it could indeed let the strong people stay. Yi Mo was ranked 21st and was never challenged at all. Yi Mo stood with the top 50. When those failed immortals saw Yi Mo, they hammered their chests in frustration. They didn't expect there was an abstruse immortal middle stage in the top 50. Yi Mo stood with the top 50. When those failed immortals saw Yi Mo, they hammered their chests in frustration. They didn't expect there was an abstruse immortal middle stage in the top 50. Yi Mo felt a little awkward too. He was the only abstruse immortal middle stage in this 50 people. Those few immortal kings noticed too, especially Su Huan, immortal king. She looked at Yi Mo strangely. Yi Mo noticed the red-robed female immortal who came with Su Huan too. She was in top 50 and abstruse immortal tertiary stage. She wasn't challenged too. The teleportation formation to the Blue Lightning Mountain was on the east side of the city. Yi Mo and them followed a great eternity immortal to the palace. There was 100 people here, 50 abstruse immortals and 50 great immortals. Other than these 100 people, many other immortals could go into the mortal well, but they would need to wait till after the 100 people went in. The top 50 of Heaven Immortal ranking get in the teleportation formation. After entering the immortal well, choose a place for your cultivation. When all of you get in, the palace would close immediately. The great eternity immortal reminded. Before anyone could say anything, the teleportation formation lights shimmered, and in a few seconds, Yi Mo and them were swept away. Moments later, Yi Mo found that he and all the abstruse immortals appeared in another palace. There were tens of small doors in here. A few abstruse immortals quickly chose a small door and entered. So this was it. Each person had a set cultivation ground. Seeing more and more people go in, Yi Mo pulled an abstruse immortal peak stage and saluted with his fists immortal friend. Can people have divine damnation here? The abstruse immortal smiled. Of course, if you reach great immortal congratulations. Then the abstruse immortal quickly found a door and went in. Immediately, there was only Yi Mo left in the palace, and only a small door left. Yi Mo quickly went in there. After he went in, the small door immediately disappeared and shut itself. Walking in tens of meters, Yi Mo found an immortal pond circulating with white mist. A dense immortal spirit chi surrounded Yi Mo. Yi Mo moaned in comfort. This was the best cultivation grounds. The pond wasn't big. There was a round jade cushion in the center. Although the well was called Blue Lightning Immortal Well, it actually had no element. But Yi Mo was certain this immortal well was much better than the one he found before. This was a diluted immortal pond, and the immortal spirit chi was still this dense. If one cultivated directly in the well, it would be even better. But the time is too short, only half a year. At most, he would be able to reach abstruse immortal tertiary stage. What a waste! Yi Mo sighed as he flew onto the seat and scanned around with his spirit sense. He immediately found that the immortal spirit chi came from the cushion below him. If he took out Time Formation Disc, Yemo was certain he could reach abstruse immortal peak stage in such a place, and even use this pond to suck over most of the nutrition from the immortal well. But in here, he didn't dare to take out the Time Formation Disc no matter what. He didn't even dare to use the Golden Page World 2. Time Formation Disc had time law. If an immortal king looked over, he would see it. Yemo admired those who were abstruse immortal peak stage. If they had Great Unity Immortal Pill, then they might be able to break through to Great Unity Immortal here. Wait, Yemo suddenly thought of something. What if someone going to the tournament reached Great Unity Immortal here? He thought of what that abstruse Immortal Peak stage said. Some of them would have to break through to Great Unity Immortal if they continued to cultivate here, so why did they still come in? Yemo slapped his head and realized he wasn't prepared at all. They couldn't cultivate here, but still went in. Clearly they only had one purpose, and that was to collect the pond water. Then they would be able to cultivate wherever they wanted. Yemo sighed. He knew that to refine the pond water, here one must have formation. Those abstruse immortals must have prepared all sorts of formation discs and storage magic artifact. He was the only one not prepared. Luckily, he didn't need all that. He was a level 3 immortal formation master and had the Golden Page World. Realizing this, Yemo stopped cultivating. He started setting up formation and completely barricaded this place before collecting the well. Even if it couldn't stop the immortal king's spirit sense, it would at least let him know. Then Yemo started studying formation that could purify the water. It was hard for others to quickly study a new formation, but not for Yemo. A month later, he could set up a level 3 purifying immortal formation. This was much more powerful than other people's formation discs. Plus, Yemo didn't set up just one. He set up more. The flow of liquid from the pond went from drops to a small stream and then a big stream into the Golden Page World. When Yemo set up the 4th purifying immortal formation, Yemo knew he didn't need to cultivate nor set up formations anymore. The water he would get in half a year was definitely enough for him to reach abstruse immortal peak stage. The effect of what Yemo did began to show up in other immortal ponds. Those abstruse immortals sensitive to immortal spirit chi began to feel less immortal spirit chi. Clearly they didn't expect someone to be this shameless setting up a level for purifying immortal formation. They guessed that everyone was cultivating, and thus the immortal pond was being used up. Yemo slowly changed all the level 3 immortal formation to level 4 immortal formations. At the 4th month, Yemo felt the pond water lessen again and even became scarce. He knew he couldn't keep purifying anymore. He had collected almost all the pond water here. He should leave some for others. Yemo put away all the formations and even removed all the spirit sense shielding formation and acted like nothing happened and began cultivation. 3 days later, a powerful spirit sense scanned past Yemo's spirit pond. It didn't stop and left after one scan. Yemo was frightened, however. If he didn't think of leaving some for others, his spirit sense barrier formation would be found even if the purifying formations weren't found. Then he would be the number 1 suspect. There was 1 more month. Yemo just stopped cultivation. The density of the pond water was very low now. It wasn't much help to his cultivation anymore. So he just spent this month studying formation. There was 1 more month. Yemo just stopped cultivation. The density of the pond water was very low now. It wasn't much help to his cultivation anymore. So he just spent this month studying formation. On the Blue Lightning Mountain, some immortals collecting herbs had been teleported out. The 3 immortal kings stayed on the mountain. Ping Zhou, immortal king. What did you see just then? Su Huan saw Ping Zhou, immortal king, scan the cultivation palace of the heaven immortals and great immortals and frowned. The 2 palaces had spirit sense shielding function. Even if an immortal king wanted to scan in, he would need help from the formation. Kai Feng also looked at Ping Zhou. The immortal spirit qi of the well suddenly became scarce, and they immediately knew. That's why they came to check. Before, even when half a year was up, the immortal well wouldn't become this low in purity. However, this time there was only 4 months, and the pond became this scarce. Ping Zhou was confused himself. I saw nothing strange, just some abstruse immortal peak stage using formation to separate the pond water. Impossible if they just used formation to separate pond water. That speed wouldn't even be as fast as their cultivation. How could it let all the immortal pond density drop this low and even affect the immortal well? Kai Feng frowned. Perhaps the immortal spirit qi of the well itself lowered. I think more time needs to be in between the next opening of the well. Otherwise, this would only damage the immortal well. Su Huan said heavily, I agree. The blue lightning immortal well was one of the most important resources of Zhongpiao heaven. There was a lot at stake. A month or so later, Yimo and the immortals were teleported to the square. Although Yimo took more than half of the well, most of the immortals who went in still grew in power. Yimo was the only person who didn't improve at all. He was still abstruse immortal middle stage. People said nothing, but some people still shook their heads at Yimo. It was such a waste for him to use such a good resource. Anyone else would be able to reach abstruse immortal peak stage, or at least tertiary stage, in half a year, but his power was absolutely the same. The great eternity immortal leading them in was there waiting for them. He said loudly, the immortal well cultivation ends now. Everyone has half a day to buy the pills and magic artifact you need. Half a day later, we will be taking Heaven Domain immortal ship to Wenchong Heaven Domain, and then take teleportation formation to Yuan Le Heaven from there. Everyone couldn't wait to go out. Some abstruse immortal peak stage wanted to sell their purified pond water to exchange for pills. Others wanted to use their contribution points. They also needed to bid their sect farewell. For Yimo, he needed to spend all of his contribution points. He could exchange them at other heaven domains, but it wasn't much useful at Yuan Le Heaven. He only had tens of thousands of immortal crystals on him. He needed to exchange all these contribution points to immortal crystals. Yimo could only go to big immortal towers to exchange immortal crystals. That would make him lose out a lot of immortal crystals, but it was impossible to exchange 10 million contribution points in a rush in the black market. Even if there was such black markets, Yimo didn't dare to go. One mistake and he could lose his life. The biggest tower in Blue Mo Immortal City was Shuangju Tower. Their immortal pill and magic artifact business was the best. When Yimo walked in, he saw a few people he knew already. They were all abstruse immortal who went to the immortal well. They were clearly preparing for the Dao-seeking tournament. When they saw Yimo come in, only one abstruse immortal middle stage nodded to him. The rest didn't seem to see him. To them, an abstruse immortal middle stage could only rely on help to get into the immortal well. Such person going to Yuan Le Heaven was a waste. Yimo didn't care what others thought of him at all. He just came to the 3rd level of the Shuangju Tower. It was filled with high-level immortal spirit beast and materials. Yimo was very interested in them. Yimo bought a large pile of immortal spirit herb and immortal materials above level 4. Even the tower rarely sees a mass buyer like Yimo, so they just sent a female immortal to follow Yimo everywhere and attend to him. The abstruse immortal middle stage who nodded to Yimo couldn't resist coming to Yimo, immortal friend. Although we're representing Zhongpiao Heaven to go to Yuan Le Heaven, we can't stay there. If you spend all your contribution points here, you would need to earn more when you come back. Yimo dazed for a moment. He didn't expect one couldn't stay at Yuan Le Heaven. He was planning to not come back. Can one not stay in Yuan Le Heaven? Not even if you go into Dao-seeking Tower? Yimo frowned and asked. The abstruse immortal smiled bitterly. Of course you can if you enter the Dao-seeking Tower, but how many can go into the Tao-seeking tower? Even the prodigies of Yuan, Le Heaven, can rarely go in. There's 100 people from Yuan, Le Heaven in the tournament, so in total there are 600. One could stay behind if he gets top 200. But other than Martial Brother Oying E and Purple Goddess Enum, the rest has no hopes. Yemo realized that this guy meant he had no hopes of getting into top 200. Yemo was very confident, however, he might not get first, but a top 30 should be fine. The reason he didn't dare to say he was number one was because the immortal realm was boundless and there were too many prodigies. Who knew if there would be a second and third Yen Jutian? Thank you, immortal friend. Yemo saluted with his fists. The abstruse immortal saw that Yemo didn't really get it into his brain, but didn't care, and just left with the other abstruse immortals. The female immortal treated Yemo with even greater respect, hearing he was competing at Yuan, Le Heaven. Yemo was taken to a grand tower, and here he saw cultivation methods marked at 50 million contribution points, magic artifact marked at 40 million contribution points. Yemo couldn't afford any of them. Will illusion crystal. Yemo's eyes focused on a fist-sized aqua material. This was level 7 immortal material. This was the best thing to upgrade his Zisu with. The Will illusion crystal could make the magic artifact feel ethereal and be traceless. This is why the Will illusion crystal is 10 times more expensive than other level 7 immortal materials. Yes, master. This is level 7 immortal material Will illusion crystal. It's one of the best materials for forging top-grade immortal artifact. Holding a magic artifact made with Will illusion crystal can increase your power by 10%, the female immortal said. Yemo looked at the price, 63 million contribution points, so expensive. This was almost 100 million immortal crystals. The low heaven domain really couldn't compare with middle heaven domain. A black heaven domain immortal ship left Zhongpiao heaven and went into the void. A black heaven domain immortal ship left Zhongpiao heaven and went into the void. Yemo was in a luxurious room now. The immortal spirit chi here was extremely dense, and there were free immortal fruits and wines. He could go onto the deck at any time. This was his first time enjoying such luxury. The 50 abstruse immortals going to Yuan, Le Heaven, all had such rooms, and had 3 immortal kings to protect them. They could ask immortal king questions at any times. Almost all of them tried to ask the 3 immortal kings all sorts of questions. Sometimes, something that troubled them for many years would be easily explained by an immortal king. This was unimaginable for any abstruse immortal. But there was only one person who didn't want such benefit, and that was Yemo. Other than asking Ping Zhou, immortal king, a moderately hard question, he spent most of his time in his room. If it wasn't to avoid suspicion, he wouldn't ask a single question at all. After he timidly asked a question that many abstruse immortals can answer, other abstruse immortals were speechless towards him. The question wasn't easy, but as an abstruse immortal who could go to Tao-seeking tournament, asking such question was not good enough. Yemo cowered behind the others and didn't seem to dare to ask a second question after seeing the contempt in others' eyes. When he returned to his room, he finally breathed easy. He just had too much pressure facing 3 immortal kings. Now that he asked a question and was sneered at, he wouldn't be suspected even if he doesn't come out again. Yemo spent all of his 14 million contribution points, and other than exchanging for materials, he also got 50 million immortal crystals. He gave the last 1,000 contribution points with the jade card to the female immortal serving him. Is that abstruse immortal middle stage MOing? Ping Zhou immortal king's spirit sense scanned Yemo, who dazedly sat in his room and shook his head. Su Huan immortal king nodded. Yes, I especially researched about him. He seemed to be lucky and found many beast cores that people hid. That's how he reached the contribution points ranking. He's in solo cultivator. He doesn't seem old, but his mind is too weak and can't take pressure. He doesn't dare to ask a second question just because he was laughed at. He doesn't even dare to face those who laugh at him. He really can't achieve much in the future. If his willpower was a little stronger and dared to ask us more questions, he would be able to reach abstruse immortal tertiary stage before Wenchong heaven. This is such a waste of a spot. Ping, Zhou Immortal King, shook his head. Kai Feng Immortal King laughed. Never mind. Even if it wasn't a waste, one spot if useless to us. Ping Zhou nodded and said there are quite a few good seeds this time. That Ouyang Yi, Purple Rain Goddess, Su Ji, Chu Xiangzi, and Su Huan Goddesses Milan are all good. I'm quite hopeful towards this tournament. Perhaps this time we can break a record. Kai Feng Immortal King laughed. Ping Zhou Immortal King, I think you missed one. That Mang Yong abstruse immortal tertiary stage is very good. When he challenged someone, he didn't even use his main magic artifact and defeated his opponent. When someone challenged him, he also won easily. You're saying that abstruse immortal with a red mark on his forehead? Ping Zhou Immortal King asked. That's right, him. Kai Feng Immortal King nodded. On the deck, 30 or so abstruse immortal were looking into the void. Doing this could not only improve one's understanding of magic, but also enlighten one's heart and make it easier to break through in solitary cultivation. Did you see Ping Zhou Immortal King's face? That M.O. in wasted a spot. The 3 Immortal Kings aren't happy. Someone spoke about Yi M.O. Sai, an abstruse immortal middle stage. I don't know where he got so many contribution points. Just look at his cowardly act, and you know he's not from a big sect. Wouldn't it be better to ask him to transfer his spot to someone else? Look at the question he asked. Should that be something asked by an abstruse immortal participating in the Tao Seeking Tournament? My face was burning with embarrassment after he said that. Yeah, because of his question, the 3 Immortal Kings are doubting our overall ability. Never mind, that guy is quite self-conscious and stopped asking. He still doesn't come out of his room now because he knows shame. Plus, no one wants to miss out on the Tao Seeking Tournament. You can't blame him. Ji Zhenghong just realized now that Yi Mo didn't have any background. He was regretful he should have challenged Yi Mo. A pale yellow dressed female immortal suddenly sneered. Talking behind people's backs is very honorable. Then the yellow dressed female immortal left the deck and went back into her room. We didn't say anything about her. Why does she care? The round-faced abstruse immortal tertiary stage grumbled. I think we misunderstood the 3 Immortal King. They wouldn't be unhappy just because of Mo Ying's question. It's because Mo Ying didn't dare to ask another question after everyone looked down on him. That's why they are disappointed. An abstruse immortal peak stage stood out and said, everyone knew this guy. He was abstruse, ranking 4th Chu Xiangzi. Everyone agreed to him after he said this. Some people even wanted to call Yi Mo out and tell him about this, but soon they gave up on this thought. They were afraid Yi Mo would disappoint the 3 Immortal King Masters. Mo Ying. Su Ji murmured this familiar name, remembering Mo Ying's ranking rising non-stop and eventually beating him. But this cheating guy was worthless to him. From other people's discussions, Yi Mo soon knew who blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian was. He was the most murderous, abstruse immortals in Yuan Heaven. He can easily kill Great Unity Immortal. Those who offended Xue Qingxian would be killed no matter how far he ran. This person also liked to bring his anger on others. If you offend him, even after you were killed, he would still kill your friend if he met him. From other people's discussions, Yi Mo soon knew who blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian was. He was the most murderous, abstruse immortals in Yuan Heaven. He can easily kill Great Unity Immortal. Those who offended Xue Qingxian would be killed no matter how far he ran. This person also liked to bring his anger on others. If you offend him, even after you were killed, he would still kill your friend if he met him. It was this that Xue Qingxian got the title Blood-Robed Immortal. He has a spirit hound that can sniff you out no matter where you went. Heaven Sword Immortal Fu Lingtian was the most talented sword immortal in Yuan Le Heaven. He was top 10 of the Yuan Le Heaven Immortal leaderboard. He could also kill Great Unity Immortal, but unlike Blood-Robed Immortal, he has his principles. Xian Len Goddess was the most proficient at using god arts in the Yuan Le Heaven Immortals. Under her god art, even Great Unity Immortal would die. She was also someone no one dared to mess with in Yuan Le Heaven. She is cold and prideful, but as long as you don't offend her, she usually wouldn't look for trouble. Every prodigy of Yuan Le Heaven seemed to have their own glory. Yi Mo was enjoying the good story time when suddenly a fierce force rose from the square and pressed down. Yi Mo was shook and immediately looked down, taking back his force and trying to calm himself down. It wasn't just Yi Mo, but all the immortals in the square stopped their discussions. The powerful force seemed to have blown past like a breath, and a gray-robed immortal landed on the main stage and disappeared. Soon, tens more immortals landed, and Yi Mo found that the 3 immortal kings of Zongpiao Heaven were among them. Tens of immortal kings gathered at the Tao-seeking square. That pressure seeped out again. Even though the immortal kings didn't do it intentionally, other immortals didn't dare to breath loudly anymore. Yi Mo breathed easy. He noticed that the gray-robed middle-aged immortal was also an immortal king, but probably immortal king tertiary stage. He didn't know if this scene was worth an immortal monarch coming, or if there was a mortal monarch in Middle Heaven domains at all. No one dared to discuss, and Yi Mo didn't know who this gray-robed immortal king was. The gray-robed immortal king scanned everyone and said loudly, "I'm Yu Le Heaven, He Immortal King, the person responsible for the Tao-seeking tournament." Yi Mo felt like his clothes were being burned when He Immortal King scanned him. Yi Mo was shocked. This He Immortal King was too scary. The Freedom King was nothing compared to this He Immortal King. This Tao-seeking tournament is very important. Everyone who had participated in Tao-seeking tournament knows that only Heaven Immortals can participate, but the results affect whether the Great Immortals and Status Immortals of each Heaven domain can go into Tao-seeking tower. Yi Mo didn't understand this. He had never heard about this part before. This tournament will be divided into 3 rounds, a total of 600 participants. Because this time it happens to be the opening of the 7 refined tower that opens every 100,000 years. The first round of the tournament will be trial in the 7 refined tower. Everyone can form teams, but each team must not have more than 7 people. Before he finished, He Immortal King's voice was covered by all the discussions. Yi Mo had never heard of the 7 refined tower, but from the looks of the immortals around him, this 7 refined tower seemed scary. Meanwhile, the Yuan Le Heaven participants were rather calm. From their discussion, Yi Mo knew that the 7 refined tower was divided into 7 levels, but never opened until every 100,000 years. Each level was a crazy and bloody world. The higher up you go, the more dangerous. Most ordinary immortals rarely survive. When everyone's discussion died down a little, He Immortal King pressed down with his hands, and the discussion stopped completely. The 7 refined tower is indeed very dangerous, but the fortunes there are amazing too. The immortal spirit herb and rare materials are very precious. Anything you get you can keep. There are 7 levels. The team that passes the first level gets 1 point, second level 5 points, third level 10 points, fourth level 20 points, fifth level 40, sixth level 80, seventh level 160 points. Of course, this isn't the only means to get points. There are a lot of 7 refined stones in the tower. The more color the stone has, the more points. 1 colored stones are worth 1 point. 7 colors are worth 7 points. I need to remind everyone that no matter how many colored stones, there would be a mortal spirit beast guarding them. Of course, everyone who goes in can get a transmission rune. You can crush it in time of danger to come out. After the match ends, teams will lose 2 points for every member that dies. The square was dead silent now. There was a hole in the rules. This meant that it allowed two teams to attack each other. If one team kills someone from the other team, not only would they get the 7 refined stones, but they would also make the team lose points. Yi Emo didn't care about this. He was thinking about what the 7 refined stones were. Immortal King said calmly, "The top 10 teams of the first round can each get a Heaven Immortal spot into the Tao-Seeking Tower. The second and third can get a Great Immortal spot on top of that. The first squad can also get a Status Immortal stop on top of all that." Yi Emo finally understood why the Tao-Seeking tournament was related to status and great immortals going in the Tao-Seeking Tower. It was decided based on the results of the first 3 rounds. Kai Feng Immortal King didn't say this because he knew it was impossible for Zhong Piao Heaven to get this. But Yi Emo could guess that the Immortal Kings didn't want to give up on this. Seeing everyone understand, Immortal King nodded. "All the participants now come with me to teleport inside the 7 refined tower. I hope everyone can get a good rank and contribute to your heaven domain, so your mortal kings didn't send you over in vain." Yi Emo looked at the 3 immortal kings from Zhongpiao Heaven and could understand why they felt bad. Every time, they could only see other immortal kings go in while they had to go home. When the contestants came to the 7 refined tower square, there were hundreds of thousands of people here, and more were coming. Some merchant towers set up signs saying buying immortal spirit beast cores from 7 refined tower and high-level immortal spirit herb as well as materials for a high price. Some sects also put up signs wanting to take in prodigy immortals from the 7 refined tower. Some talented immortals would definitely want to stay at Yuan La Heaven, and a good sect was important. People needed to form squads before going in, and the contestants soon formed their own teams. Yi Emo found the Zhong Piao Heaven soon formed 7 squads, with each squad having 7 people. No one wanted to be with him. Everyone looked at Yi Emo and had a strange face. Even the 10s of immortal kings looked at him. Although they knew no one wanted to team up with him, probably due to his weak power, but even so, he shouldn't be ignored by everyone. Just how bad was he with people? Everyone looked at Yi Emo and had a strange face. Even the 10s of immortal kings looked at him. Although they knew no one wanted to team up with him, probably due to his weak power, but even so, he shouldn't be ignored by everyone. Just how bad was he with people? The other heaven domains had squads of 4, 5, 6, and 7. Only Zhongpiao Heaven was all 7 people squads. The weakest guy was left out. Yi Emo looked down and said nothing. He acted as though he was very uneasy, as though he was worried about going in 7 refined tower alone. In fact, he really didn't want to be exposed in front of everyone like this. It was fine if they were below status immortal, but with this many immortal kings staring at him, if they all used spirit sense to check him, he would be over. Luckily, most people had sympathy for Yi Emo, who looked down and said nothing. Some people was contemptuous that someone like Yi Emo came to waste a spot. Some immortal kings never thought of using spirit sense to check Yi Emo, this abstruse immortal middle stage. The 3 immortal kings from Zhongpiao Heaven shook their heads too. They weren't happy with the contestants abandoning Yi Emo, but also disliked Yi Emo's timid attitude. The first round hasn't even begun, and Zhongpiao Heaven was being laughed at. Su Ji saw Yi Emo and shook his head. If Yi Emo didn't get this result by cheating, he might help Yi Emo say something, but Yi Emo deserved this. That yellow-robed female immortal also looked at Yi Emo and was speechless too. One really couldn't sympathize with him. No wonder no one wanted to team up with him. Everyone was trading maps of the tower while he looked down, not daring to scan his spirit sense out. Without a map, he wouldn't even be able to get up to level 2. Immortal King seemed to know the Zhongpiao Heaven Immortal Kings were a little awkward, so he broke the silence and said, "Please collect jade cards as a team and enter the teleportation formation." Yi Emo looked at his team card. It was 79. There was nothing else. Yi Mo knew that with this jade card, it could record his team's progress just like contribution points jade card. Other teams had many people, but every person still had a jade card and they were interconnected. Crushing the jade card would teleport you out, and the points you got would count towards the team's points. There were 106 teams. The teleportation formation was very fast, and every 10 seconds, one team was teleported away. In less than half an hour, all the teams had been teleported in. Yi Mo was the last, as he had the least person in the team. In order to not make the immortal kings of each domain disappointed early, the screen outside only showed the team's rank and points, but didn't point out which heaven domain it belonged to. In less than 5 minutes, the 11ST squad got 1 point and became first. When Yi Mo was teleported in, he landed in a fiery red thorn brush. There was no one around him. This was a random teleportation. As soon as Yi Mo landed, 2 red level 1 thorn immortal spirit beast attacked. Yi Mo casually slashed with Zisu, and the 2 immortal spirit beast were killed. However, there was no points for killing BS in here. Yi Mo found a rock and scanned his spirit sense out standing on it. There were swamps, thorns, brushes everywhere. All sorts of insects ravaged the place. Some strange immortal spirit herb grew in strange corners, but they were all low-level immortal spirit herb. Yi Mo felt that the first level of this tower was boundless. His spirit sense seemed to have been suppressed to 10,000 kilometers radius. Yi Mo frowned. The contestants of Yuan Le Heaven would know where the entrance to level 2 was and had a map. He had nothing. He didn't know that every team had a map except for him. Yi Mo didn't want to stay at level 1. Even if he found 7 refined stone, the color was too low. It was a waste of time. This level was probably prepared for Hollow Immortal and Golden Immortals. Yi Mo released Blue Moon, wanting to find a place out. It would be best to find a team from Yuan Le Heaven and get a map from them. Yi Mo just flew out a few hundred km and a powerful whirlpool appeared in his spirit sense. Yi Mo was fraught and quickly maneuvered Blue Moon a few km away before dodging that whirlpool. When he scanned his spirit sense back, the whirlpool was gone. This was only first level. It seemed he needed to be careful. Yi Mo didn't get off Blue Moon, but just expanded his spirit sense out. Half a day later, Yi Mo still had no idea about the entrance to level 2. He killed quite some flying immortal spirit beast on the way. There were level 1 and level 2. Some of them had stealth capabilities, but that was nothing to Yi Mo. Which idiot is this? He dares to fly this fast on flying magic artifact in the 7 refined tower. Yi Mo found the 4 before they found him and rushed over without hesitation. Haha, it's that idiot that no one wants to team up with. Pity he doesn't have much on him. He's coming towards us. His flying magic artifact isn't bad. Yi Mo came before them. For friends, may I ask if you have 7 refined tower map? Yi Mo saluted with his fists. Yes, but you need to pay some price. One sharp-chinned, abstruse immortal sneered. Yi Mo frowned. I know. How many immortal crystals? We don't need immortal crystals. Just leave behind your flying magic artifact. Oh, and your storage ring. Another abstruse immortal laughed. In their eyes, Yi Mo was here to give them storage ring and flying ma. I'll add something. Your life will be kept here too. Otherwise, we Tang Yao Heaven can't take the blame. Another abstruse immortal said. Seeing this, Yi Mo immediately decided to kill them. There were no points in level 1, and yet they still wanted to kill him. They were purely trying to rob him. Tang Yao Heaven gave Yi Mo a very bad impression. The ship he was on with Zhen Bingyu was towards Tang Yao Heaven. In that case, I'll give this stone to you. Yi Mo sneered and World Rock was released. A black mountain was dominant immortal essence, smashed down. You're asking to die. Seeing Yi Mo dare to attack, these abstruse immortals were furious. This loner abstruse immortal middle stage dared to attack them. Rumble. Rumble. The abstruse immortal tertiary stage, who was attacked by Yi Mo, barely managed to release a shield, but this shield was like paper to the world rock. It was instantly torn apart. Splurge! The world rock just paused a tiny moment before falling on this abstruse immortal tertiary stage. Yi Mo planned to kill with one strike. He didn't hold back at all. Even the abstruse immortal storage ring was pulverized. Then, the world rock smashed at the second abstruse immortal. Yi Mo wasn't worried. He believed more than one of them would have the map. The other three reacted at the same time. Other than that abstruse immortal being smashed, the other two was joyful instead. They could tell that this black rock was a powerful magic artifact. If they killed Yi Mo, this would be theirs. The two abstruse immortal tertiary stage released their magic artifact without hesitation and attacked Yi Mo at the same time. Seeing this, Yi Mo breathed easy. He was scared someone would try to run at this time. If someone did, he wouldn't be able to kill them all. He wasn't from the Zhong Piao heaven. He came to the tournament for himself. If the three immortal kings of Zhong Piao heaven didn't protect him, it would be big trouble for killing Tang Yao heaven contestants. His immortal essence flooded into the world rock while hacking over with Zisu. The second abstruse immortal being attacked by the world rock released a defense bell magic artifact, but it still couldn't stop Yi Mo's world rock. Yi Mo's immortal essence was far beyond ordinary abstruse immortal plus. He was using the world rock. Crack! The bell magic artifact shattered. The abstruse immortal tertiary stage wasn't able to withstand the world rock's terrifying power, and his body was smashed to a pie. His essence spirit was devoured by Shadowless. Yi Mo killed two abstruse immortal tertiary stage instantly in one move. The other two were very shocked and knew things weren't good. Yi Mo was able to release Zisu while using the world rock, meaning that he had far superior spirit sense and immortal essence than them. If they still didn't run, now they would be idiots. That abstruse immortal peak stage saw Yi Mo's strength earlier, and just when he was about to crush his jade card and run, he found he couldn't. Sword domain. He was bound by sword domain. In his shock, the abstruse immortal peak stage burned his immortal essence like crazy. He just needed 1 second. No, half a second. The illusion cloud domain kill strikes, SWPRD, domain easily tore through his sword veil. While he was recovering, the sword ray easily cut apart his body in less than half a second. Seeing Yi Mo instantly kill 3 people, the last abstruse immortal was completely dazed. His hands were shaking. He wanted to take out his jade card and crush it, but he found his sea of consciousness was in chaos. He couldn't even hold the jade card. Zisu turned around in a purple beam and sliced the last guy from waist in half. Yi Mo's face was very pale after instant killing 4 people. If the 4 didn't run, he wouldn't need to use such efforts, but if he relaxed a little bit, there would be someone to teleport out. The hardest kill was the 4th person. He used his spirit sense blades to attack this abstruse immortal and make him unable to activate the jade card. This was very taxing on his spirit sense. Luckily, this was an abstruse immortal tertiary stage. If it was an abstruse immortal peak stage, Yi Mo would probably spit a mouthful of blood and still might not be able to lock the person now. He put away 3 storage ring. Yi Mo didn't stop at all and immediately left the scene. 15 minutes later, Yi Mo set up a simple stealth formation in the forest and took out 3 storage ring. As he expected, other than pills and immortal crystals, there were 3 maps. The jade slip was very simply, however, and only had where to find the entrance to the next level. It also had some basic knowledge about the 7 refined tower, to avoid void whirlpools, and some stealthed immortal spirit beast. It also said where the 7 refined stones would most likely occur. It was usually at dense spirit chi places while immortal spirit beast guarding. This was enough for Yi Mo. He packed away everything and left as quickly as possible. He was going to level 2. The first level was useless to him. Yi Mo thought the 7 refined stone would be a forgery material usually hidden underground on some rock. But when he found a 7 refined stone, he knew he was too naive. It was a material indeed, but it grew on a plant with no leaves nor flowers. There was indeed a level 2 immortal spirit, beast guarding it. The single-colored stone had 7 sides, and each side was even in size. Yi-Mo scanned with a spirit sense and couldn't tell if it was forgery or pill concoction material. Yi-Mo even captured a sliver of fire element in this. The rock was yellow on one side and gray on the other sides. Yi-Mo didn't throw it into the jade card. He threw it into his golden page world. He felt he needed to study this. If he didn't have enough points in the end, he could throw it back. Yi-Mo found 3 more rocks on the way and threw them all into the golden page world. Half a day later, Yi-Mo found the entrance to the 2nd level. This was just a small teleporting whirlpool. Yi-Mo's spirit sense scanned a few teams were coming over this way too. He didn't stop and went in the whirlpool quickly. Moments later, he was teleported to level 2. The immortal spirit chi here was much denser than level 1, but the space seemed more volatile. Yi-Mo found that after reaching level 2, his jade card showed 1 point. This meant that 79th team had 1 point. Yi-Mo threw a 7 refined stone inside, and the points became 2. Yi-Mo didn't stay at level 2 for long. There were level 3 immortal spirit beast, and even 3 colored 7 refined stone, but this wasn't where Yi-Mo wanted to stay. At level 2, he found 6 7 refined stones and went into level 3. Yi-Mo wasn't just searching for 7 refined stones. He found the immortal spirit herbs here were very old. Even the level 2 and level 3 immortal spirit herb were tens of thousands of years old, some even 100,000 years. Yi-Mo stayed at level 3. Level 3 had level 4 immortal spirit herb and level 4 immortal spirit beast. From this, it was obvious that at level 4 there would be level 5 immortal spirit beast. A week later, Yi-Mo killed more than 10 level 4 immortal spirit beast and got tens of level 4 immortal spirit herbs and many level 3 immortal spirit herb. He also got 9 3 colored 7 refined stones and 1 4 colored 7 refined stone. There were a few times he almost encountered other teams, but he carefully avoided them. Yi-Mo didn't want to meet with these people. He wanted to go to level 4. Before going there, Yi-Mo decided to increase his power to abstruse immortal tertiary stage. The 7 refined tower square screen showed clearly the points of the teams. The first ranked Team 11 was at 83 points. The second was Team 35, who was 81 points. The lowest ranked Team 41 was 0 points. Why is there still a 0-point team? Someone asked. Without a doubt, it's that Zhongpiao Heaven one-man team. That guy is pitiful. But surely he got at least 1 7 refined stone? Hard to say. Maybe he really didn't get one. Would he have been killed by immortal spirit beast? Impossible. There would at most be level 2 immortal spirit beast at level 1 of the tower. That guy is an abstruse immortal middle stage. He can take on level 2 immortal spirit beast. But it's possible he was annihilated by another team. Some people laughed. The tens of immortal kings were also looking at the score board, discussing about cultivation as well. Clearly, they could hear the discussions of the low-level immortals. Kai Feng, immortal king, and Ping, Zhou, immortal king's face was sunken. Su Huan, immortal king's face was green. She regretted bringing that Mo Ing to Yuan Lu Heaven. A white light blinked, and a 6-man squad was teleported to level 3. A white light blinked, and a 6-man squad was teleported to level 3. I see a level 4 Zhilon fruit. It seems there are quite a lot of good things at level 3. One person said. Before he finished, a piercing screech of metal sounded, and then a dark shadow covered the space. Not good. It's spirit, sucking bloodbat, run. One experienced abstruse, immortal tertiary stage immediately called out in shock. The rest of the people realized that this black mass was spirit, sucking bloodbat. They were immediately about to retreat. However, it was too late now. The flock of bats surrounded the 6 completely. There were bats from level 2 to level 4. Even though they had used their last means, but it was useless against so many bats. In a short time, 2 abstruse immortals were torn to bloody mist by the bats. The remaining 4 people had a sliver of despair. They could only crush their jade card and teleport out. 3 months trial, and they didn't even last 1 month. When the 4 came to the square, they realized they weren't the first. There were at least 40 people who were out. Yemo just cultivated in his golden page world for 3 days, but that was a year or so in the time formation disk. He broke through to abstruse immortal tertiary stage without any trouble. 3 days later, Yemo left the golden page world and hid his power to be abstruse immortal middle stage. He had decided to go to 7 refined tower level 4. Xue Qingxian, your power is indeed strong, but there's a chronological order to things. We've been here for half a day, and we killed that 3-headed bear. Now that we're going to collect 7 refined stones, you're going to rob us? One pretty female immortal's face was bursting red. There were 4 abstruse immortals behind her. However, Xue Qingxian looked down and said nothing. There were 3 people behind him too, but his team mates were full of contempt. Clearly, they knew that the blood-robed immortal could deal with everything himself. Xue Qingxian laughed and suddenly sneered, "If you disagree, then attack together. Only I will be fighting." The other 3 teammates laughed too, and one of them said, "Martial brother Xue, we'll go somewhere else. We won't affect your business. When you're done, we'll rendezvous with you." The abstruse immortal then looked at the pretty female immortal strangely before leaving. Moments later, the 3 were indeed gone. Xue Qingxian licked his lips and didn't seem scared at all facing 5 people. He laughed, "You guys can attack together. Don't worry, I'll let one of you live." Then he scanned that pretty female immortal. Even an idiot knew what he meant now. Xue Qingxian was vengeful and very lustful too. The 5 clearly knew Xue Qingxuan's character. One abstruse immortal peak stage saluted with his fists and said nothing. He pulled that pretty female immortal and said, "Let's go." The female immortal knew that the 5 of them combined were probably no match for Xue Qingxian. It was pointless to stay here, and they didn't dare to collect the stones. Seeing them leave, Xue Qingxian laughed. "You're lucky I'm in a good mood." Then he was about to collect the 7 refined stones. "I'm in a good mood too." One sound suddenly stopped Xue Qingxian. Before Xue Qingxian could scan his spirit sense, a figure landed before him. He waved his hand, and the 3 stones fell into his hands. "It's you." Xue Qingxian saw it was Yemo and dazed. He knew this guy, the one from Zongpiao Heaven that no one wanted to team up with. He was the weakest, an abstruse immortal middle stage. How did a trash like him come to level 3? Then he realized this guy not only came to level 3 and dared to take 7 refined stones from him. "You're asking to die." Xue Qingxian released his space-shattering lightning spear. Countless silver lightning arcs shot out. It was as though the spear broke into a space filled with lightning arcs. In that instant, the lightning covered the entire space. Before this spar was fully activated, a few more silver spear shadows spilled out, each bringing countless lightning arcs as it crackled the space. There were more and more spear shadows and lightning arcs. Yemo approved of this quite a bit. This was a bit like his illusion cloud division strike. From this, it was clear that Xue Qingxuan's spirit sense was also powerful. Xue Qingxian was furious indeed. No matter how this insect came here, he dared to challenge his authority. He wasn't going to give this insect a chance to crush the jade card. He was certain he would be able to kill Yemo before he could teleport out. But what made him more furious was that Yemo didn't use the jade card and instead released a rock magic artifact. Smash! The world rock brought out a dark ray that instantly broke through the endless silver lightning arcs. Xuan's spear had a sliver of spear domain inside. Ordinary abstruse immortals would indeed be killed before being able to use Jade Card, but to Yemo, this wasn't enough. Xuan was indeed much stronger than ordinary abstruse immortal tertiary stage, but compared to Yan Jiutian, he was far weaker. In the blink of an eye, the world rock fell. The silver lightning was crushed like paper spilling everywhere. The world rock just paused for a brief moment and continued falling. Xuan was overwhelmed. He ran his immortal essence, like crazy trying to maintain his spear force. Crack! The world rock smashed the lightning spear, and Xuan spat a mouthful of blood flying back out. Mid-air, he ate a pill and released a faint red barrier. You weren't smashed to death. Yemo murmured in confusion. Yemo was planning to kill Xuan in one go. Yemo shook his head. It seemed he needed a god art indeed. If the world rock had its god art, that kid would have been smashed to pulp. Xuan heard this and spat another mouthful of blood. He dominated the Yuan Le Heaven domain, and even Great Unity Immortal would have to run away when seeing him. Since when did he receive such insult? That guy just used one move and was confused why he didn't die. I looked wrong. I didn't expect you had such power. Xuan said coldly. Xuan's heart was cold. If this wasn't the 7 refined tower, he would be certain Yemo was a great immortal, but great immortals can't come in the 7 refined tower. This guy was indeed an abstruse immortal then. Why did no one want to team up with such a powerful abstruse immortal? This was the first time he had seen an abstruse immortal this strong. Since you didn't die, eat another strike then. Yemo knew that it was a bit hard to kill Xuan in the 7 refined tower. This guy could crush his Jade Card in time. Xuan burst his immortal essence, and the red light barrier shone brightly. He released his lightning spear again. He really couldn't accept being beaten by a nameless person. As long as his red barrier could stop that rock, he can counterattack with a lightning spear. Dang! Crack! The red barrier crashed with the world rock, forming a loud bell ring. The red barrier instantly disappeared, and the powerful force struck Xuan a few hundred meters away. Xuan spat another mouthful of blood while looking at the world rock in shock. He didn't understand what magic artifact could be this powerful. Yemo dazed that Xuan's magic artifacts were all pretty good. They were hit by the world rock and dying shatter. This meant that not only were Xuan's spirit sense and immortal essence powerful, but his magic artifact were indeed very good. Yemo dazed that Xuan's magic artifacts were all pretty good. They were hit by the world rock and dying shatter. This meant that not only were Xuan's spirit sense and immortal essence powerful, but his magic artifact were indeed very good. After a long while, blood-robed immortal Xuan recovered his senses. He saw the way Yemo looked at him and felt very uncomfortable. It had always been him to look at others like this, but someone dared to look at him this way today. But he had to take it. He knew if he kept fighting, he would be no match. He also knew that the reason this guy didn't keep attacking him was not because he let him go, but he knew that he couldn't kill him in the 7 refined tower. Humph! Xuan sneered and took back his defense magic artifact and blinked away. Yemo didn't chase him. After Xuan ran away, his power would be exposed. This wasn't good. Yemo knew sooner or later his power would be exposed. He wasn't going to hold back because he needed to get into top 10. Yemo wasn't afraid of exposing his power, but his golden page world. When he went into solitary cultivation, he had decided to hide the golden page world in the depth of his sea of consciousness. This way, even an immortal king wouldn't be able to force out his golden page world with spirit sense pressure unless the immortal king shattered his sea of consciousness. Other people wouldn't be able to access the depth of their sea of consciousness, but Yemo could, as he had spirit sense, cultivation method. Yi Emo didn't believe there would be such insane immortal king. He was only a contestant. No matter what, the immortal king wouldn't have a reason to crush his sea of consciousness. At most, he would suspect he had some fortune and scan his meridians with spirit sense. Yi Emo stayed another day at level 3. When he saw an abstruse immortal tertiary stage being entangled by a vine and instantly sucked dry, he realized that immortal spirit beasts weren't the only danger in here. More and more people were coming to level 3. Yi Emo had decided to go to level 4. He only had 7 points on his jade card. Although he had many 7 refined stones, he only threw some in the jade card. The rest were in the golden page world. He felt these stones were good things, and it would be a pity to use them all for points. Xue Qingxian was very annoyed. He slaughtered countless, and for the first time he had to run away. But he cherished his face and still acted like nothing happened when he met up with his teammates. These 4 were the elite of Yuan Le Heaven and were all very prideful. That's why they teamed up, as they believed with them they could get the top few ranks. Martial brother Qingxian is back so quick. The hawk-eyed abstruse immortal laughed and asked casually. No one could tell Xue Qingxian lost. They just felt Xue Qingxuan's power was a little weak. That abstruse immortal peak stage was pretty close with Xue Qingxian, and felt his weak qi was due to playing with that pretty female immortal. Xue Qingxian grunted and said nothing. The few were used to Xue Qingxian being like this. When he didn't want to talk, it was best not to mess with him. Zongpiao heavens, Xue Qingxian said coldly, and then suddenly darted out. The other 3 immediately scanned another 6-man squad. They followed over without hesitation. Xue Qingxian saw this team was a Zongpiao heaven squad, and the captain was the abstruse rank number 2 purple rain goddess. Su Ji was there too. This was a rather strong team of Zongpiao Heaven. But even the most powerful Zongpiao Heaven squad was not enough to Xue Qingxian. Plus, they just lost a team member. They immediately saw when Xue Qingxian came over. It's blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian. Purple Rain Goddess sneered and immediately sent a message letting the other 5 form a formation. Give me your storage rings and females, otherwise die. Xue Qingxian said coldly while releasing his lightning spear. Su Ji and them knew that if someone dared to move, that lightning spear would immediately pierce that person. With Xue Qingxuan's power, he would definitely be able to kill them before they activate the Jade card. Plus, there were 3 people behind Xue Qingxian, and the 4 of them surrounded the 6 of them. Blood-robed immortal, we have no enmity with you. If you just want 7 refined stone, we can give you some. Why be so harsh? Purple Rain Goddess was prideful in Zongpiao Heaven, but here she could only soften up. What do you think you are? What right do you have to bargain with martial brother Qingxian? If you don't do what he says in 3 seconds, you all die. Don't think you have a chance to activate Jade card. Whoever dares to move, I promise, he will immediately be dead. That eagle-eyed abstruse immortal sneered. Su Ji said, slowly, blood-robed immortal, I've heard of your name, but isn't this a bit too dominant? Dominant? You can only blame you're from Zongpiao Heaven. I'm going to kill trash from Zongpiao Heaven today. There was cold rays in Xue Qingxuan's eyes as he shaked his lighting spear about to attack. Your dad, also from Zongpiao Heaven. Another voice sounded, but Xue Qingxian shivered, and that lightning spear immediately weakened. That voice was his nightmare. How could he forget? Indeed, he saw Yi Emo walk up. A day ago, he lost all his face to this guy and was almost killed. Yet in a day, they met again. The other 3 saw Yi Emo too and released their killing intent, but they didn't attack. They knew blood robed immortals rule. If someone dared to steal his prey, he would make that person pray to die. Thud thud. 2 lights flashed, and 2 people in the team teleported out. The other 4 didn't move. There was contempt in Purple Rain Goddess's eyes. It was an insult to be on the same team as these cowards. The remaining four all looked at Yemo. They frowned. This was the disgusting thing about cultivators ascended from the cultivation realm. They didn't act like immortals at all. Su Ji frowned for a different reason. He knew that Yemo was only going to infuriate Xue Qingxian and make him kill him. To him, it was very substantial that Yemo could come all the way here alone. Before Xue Qingxian said anything, he immediately said to Yemo, "Emoing, don't speak. We lost 3 people on the team. You can team up with us." Yemo looked at Su Ji in confusion. He didn't expect he had such intention. But Yemo just nodded at Su Ji and said, "You guys can go. I can do it alone." Su Ji smiled but deigned answer. If they could go, they would have gone already. Suddenly, he realized something wasn't right. According to Xue Qingxuan's arrogance, how could he not flip when Yemo proclaimed himself to be his dad? Xue Qingxuan's team mates also looked at why the blood-robed immortal hasn't flipped yet. However, what shocked them more was that Xue Qingxian instead asked Yemo, "Just what do you want?" Su Ji and Purple Rain Goddess were completely dazed. Since when was blood-robed immortal so easy to talk to? Asking the guy who proclaimed to be his dad what he wanted. Martial brother Chengxian. The eagle-eyed abstruse immortal couldn't help asking. Yemo wasn't planning to fight since he knew he couldn't kill Xue Qingxian, but now that a team from Zongpiao Heaven was affected due to this, he felt uncomfortable. Just when he was looking for a reason to fight, this guy on the side spoke, giving him the excuse to flip punk. "Shut your mouth." The eagle-eyed abstruse immortal raised a brow. A mere abstruse immortal middle stage from Zongpiao Heaven dared to yell at him. Did he want to die? Before Xue Chengxian said anything, he was about to release his golden mace. Before Xue Chengxian said anything, he was about to release his golden mace. Xue Chengxian sneered and waved his hand, signaling the eagle-eyed to stop for now. The eagle-eyed was furious, but he listened to the blood-robed immortal. He knew there must be a reason Xue Chengxian hadn't killed Yemo yet. Otherwise, with his personality, Yemo would be completely vanished now. Yemo felt things were boring that the eagle-eye went back. He was waiting for him to attack and kill this guy first. These guys were Yuan Le Heaven Elite. He was by himself. If he didn't have a good reason, it wasn't good to kill a prodigy abstruse immortal of Yuan Le Heaven. Everyone looked at Yemo. They all wanted to hear what Yemo wanted and know why blood-robed immortal was so nice today. I spent most of my time in here collecting immortal spirit herb. I didn't get a lot of 7 refined stones. You have 4 people here. Just give me 10s each. When Yemo finished, the remaining people, completely dazed. Was Yemo an idiot or just insolent? Did he not know it was blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian he was talking to? Purple Rain Goddess and Su Ji glanced at each other. There was shock and confusion in their eyes. They didn't know where this Mo got his confidence from daring to scam 7 refined stones from blood-robed immortal. "You've insulted me beyond the limit." Fire was spewing out of blood-robed immortal's eyes. His hand shook and the silver color crackled on his spear. Hearing this, how could the eagle-eyed abstruse immortal take it? He couldn't control his golden mace anymore and smashed down at Yemo with golden light. The heaven covering golden light completely enveloped Yemo. The Zongpiao Heaven, 4 people's face changed. They immediately retreated in the wake of that fierce golden light. This was just a henchman of blood-robed immortal, and he was this terrifying already. What would happen if blood-robed immortal attacked? Yuan Lu Heaven was indeed far superior than Zongpiao Heaven. Any one of them was on par, or even better than Ouyang Yi. Yemo didn't wait for Xue Qingxian to attack. He needed to finish the battle fast. If the 4 attacked him together, it would be a little troublesome. Seeing the golden mace land, Yemo released World Rock before the golden light was fully activated. The World Rock was much faster than that golden mace. The golden mace looked fierce and full of killing intent, but the master of the mace's sea of consciousness was surrounded by Yi Mo's spirit sense blades. The eagle-eyed abstruse immortal sneered, seeing Yi Mo being enveloped by the killing intent. He didn't understand why Xue Qingxian was so polite to an abstruse immortal middle-stage insect. Why not kill such arrogant fool quickly? But in less than half a second he was shocked. He felt countless invisible blades attack the border of his sea of consciousness, making him lose control of the golden mace. The golden light was rendered useless. Wait, this was a spirit sense attack. Before the eagle eye could react, a terrifying explosion sounded in his sea of consciousness. When the world rock smashed the golden mace, the countless blades hacked into his sea of consciousness. The terrifying backlash overturned his sea of consciousness before he could react from the chaos. A huge black mountain smashed over. Splurge! The eagle-eyed abstruse immortal was smashed to nothing in just one blow. Meanwhile, Xue Qingxian just released his lightning spear. Seeing the eagle-eye getting smashed, he immediately stopped his spear. He knew that if he released the spear, that guy would hunt him until he left the tower. The two abstruse immortals behind Xue Qingxian never intended to attack. Yi Mo was a mere abstruse immortal middle stage. How could he be a match for the eagle eye? Yet how long had it been? 1 second or 2 seconds? Eagle eye was killed. They all came from mountains of corpse. With how Yi Mo killed eagle eye dominantly in one move, the two immediately realized why Xue Qingxian was so concerned with Yi Mo and didn't attack. The blood-robed immortal was no match for Yi Mo at all. Where did this maniac come from? He was this terrifying. Realizing this, the two immediately came to the blood-robed immortal's side. Their magic artifact was releasing light. Clearly they were ready to fight Yi Mo, Purple Rain Goddess. Suji and them were completely dumbfounded. Only now did they realize how absurd this MOing was. He killed Xue Qingxuan's teammate, but the blood-robed immortal didn't even dare to say anything. He was too powerful. Suji sighed, and he thought this MOing got top 50 by cheating. Purple Rain Goddess and the other two Zhongpiao Heaven Abstruse Immortal looked at Yi Mo in shock. Only now did they realize how ridiculous it was to look down on this person. With such power, even Ouyang would be killed. So the abstruse ranking wasn't reliable too. That was the only thought Purple Rain Goddess had. To be honest, she didn't consider any abstruse immortal of Zhongpiao Heaven highly. Even Ouyang was so to her. But now, she realized how ridiculous her sense of superiority was. Yi Mo put the storage ring. He got into his storage ring and then looked coldly at blood-robed immortal but said nothing. The blood-robed immortal gritted his teeth and took out a few 7 refined stones to Yi Mo. Those I haven't put into the jade card are all here. Yi Mo looked at the stones. They were all 3 and 4 colored. He threw them into his jade card and his points rose to 24 immediately. The two next to Xue Qingxian took out a few stones and threw it to Yi Mo without hesitation. With all this, Yi Mo's points rose to 61. Seeing Yi Mo's shameless act, they were furious but didn't dare to talk. Is that fine now? Blood-robed immortal said word by word. If he could beat Yi Mo, he would have ate Yi Mo piece by piece already. I said 10s, you only gave a few. Do you think I'm an idiot like you? Yi Mo said contemptuously. The world rock floated in the air again, and that terrifying pressure fell. They had seen the power of the world rock and became nervous, clutching their jade slips in their hands tightly. Blood-robed immortal almost spat blood out of fury. Yi Mo didn't say it wanced enough when he took it. Now that he took it, he said it wasn't enough. He might as well just crush his jade card. We have no enmity. Don't you think you're a bit too domineering? Blood-robed immortal just said this, and felt it was quite familiar. Purple Rain Goddess and Suji were speechless. This was too satisfying. Then piss off, Yi Mo said. He knew he couldn't kill them, and they probably only had this much 7 refined stones. Wait, I meant to piss out of 7 refined tower, not somewhere else. Yi Mo said coldly, "Who knows if this guy will keep looking for trouble with Zongpiao heaven people?" You, blood-robed immortal, almost spat blood again out of anger. He took out the stones so he could stay here, not to be kicked out. Yi Mo sneered, "If you don't go, you can try my waiting stone. If I can't smash you out of the tower, I will go out myself." "Very well. I, blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian, will remember you. I hope you're always lucky like this." Xue Qingxian took out his jade card and crushed it. The other two saw this and could only crush their jade cards too. In the blink of an eye, there was just Yi Mo and 4 completely dumbfounded Zongpiao heaven abstruse immortals. Yi Mo scanned Purple Rain Goddess and them, but said nothing. He turned away and disappeared. Yi Mo scanned Purple Rain Goddess and them, but said nothing. He turned away and disappeared. Just who is he? One Zongpiao heaven abstruse immortal asked in shock. Everyone looked at Su Ji because he said to invite Mo Ying. Perhaps he knew him. Su Ji shook his head, seeing everyone look at him. "I only know he's called Mo Ying. His contribution points only rose up a month before the Blue Lightning Immortal Well opened. I don't know anything else." Since when did such a powerful abstruse immortal appear in Zongpiao heaven? Not even blood-robed immortal Xue Qingxian is a match for him. With his power, he should be fine getting top 3 in the Yuan Le Heaven immortal rank. That abstruse immortal said in shock again, "This is no small matter. We need to report to the 3 immortal king masters as soon as we go out." Suji said. Purple Rain Goddess nodded. Indeed, Mo Ying came out of nowhere. No one looked favorably of him before, but he's this terrifying. We're the frogs at the bottom of the well. They could tell that this very prideful goddess also faced reality now. Not only were there many people stronger than her in Yuan Le Heaven, but even Mo Ying was far from what she could be. But that Mo Ying has no ill will. He helped us. I think he kicked Xue Qingxian out of the tower, so he can't keep harming us Zongpiao heaven people. If I didn't guess wrong, the blood-robed immortal suffered in his hands once, and that's why he brought his anger on us. Mo Ying is a rather upright person, and knew he caused this, so he kicked blood-robed immortal out. Suji said. Everyone agreed. Purple Rain Goddess sighed. I wanted to work hard and find 7 refined stones and make the 3 immortal king masters have no regret. But now, it seems the 3 immortal king masters won't be regretting. With Mo Ying's power, he can definitely get into top 10. Purple Rain Martial Sister, would Martial Brother Mo Ying be the strongest in the 7 refined tower? Someone asked. Purple Rain Goddess shook her head. Probably not. The blood-robed immortal is infamous, but that's because he's too murderous. He's only ranked 9th on the Yuan Le Heaven immortal rank. I think Mo Ying would be able to rank into top 5, but it would be a bit hard to get first. Su Ji continued, with Mo Ying in here, it's our opportunity. We should go find 7 refined stones and go to level 4 before the place closes. Everyone agreed to this, and the 4 quickly left, continuing the search for 7 refined stones. When Yi Mo came to the 4th level, he remembered that his map stopped at level 4. There was no entrance for level 5. Yi Mo looked at the map he got from the eagle-eyed abstruse immortal. His map also stopped at level 4. It seemed he needed to find level 5 himself. There were level 5 immortal spirit beast at level 4. At level 5, there would be level 6 immortal spirit beast. At level 7, there would be level 7 immortal spirit beast. Level 7 immortal spirit beast were theoretically equivalent to immortal kings. Although the immortal spirit beast here were weaker than immortal king, but they definitely weren't something he could deal with. At level 4, if he wanted to stay, he would have to stealth himself. As soon as Mo thought of this, a dominating force swept over. Level 5 Fire Chimera Beast. Its skin and hair were good forgery materials, but Yi-Mo knew he was weaker than this level 5 chimera. Even if he could kill it, he would be heavily injured. Yi-Mo immediately stealthed when the chimera came over. The 3 birth chance stealth capabilities were shocking. The chimera came for Yi-Mo, but when he got to where Yi-Mo was, the target he was looking for was gone, and he began to roar. At this moment, a few more dashing lights lit up. Yi-Mo knew more people came to level 4. With this, the chimera roared and charged over. Before the 4 could react, the chimera spewed a fire mountain. One of them was instantly enveloped by the fire mountain. The other 3 ran away in 3 different directions. The first to run just flew up and was tied by a vine that sprung up. Then, this abstruse immortal fell into the thorn brush and disappeared. The 2 other abstruse immortal were scared soulless. They immediately crushed their jade card and disappeared from level 4. In just a few seconds, 2 abstruse immortal tertiary stage were killed without resistance, and the other 2 got away. Yi-Mo didn't dare to act like he was in level 3 and flew around on Blue Moon everywhere. He carefully shifted himself while stealthed. He would avoid places with lots of vegetation. On the way, he encountered many devouring vines and level 4 immortal spirit beast, but he avoided them all. Instead, he found large amounts of level 4 immortal spirit herb, and they were all very aged. Yi-Mo rejoiced on his decision to come here. Half a month later, Yi-Mo collected a few hundred level 4 and level 5 immortal spirit herb and large amounts of 7 refined stones. There were more stones at level 4, probably due to long time with no people coming here. Some of them weren't even guarded by immortal spirit beast. He killed a few level 4 immortal spirit beast, but he would immediately go if he saw level 5 immortal spirit beast. Luckily, there were little level 5 immortal spirit beast at level 4. Yi-Mo only encountered 2 in half a month. After going through just under half the area of level 4, Yi-Mo found the entrance to level 5 and went in without hesitation. There were so many good things at level 4. Level 5 was undoubtedly more wealthy. Yi-Mo guessed right. Level 5 was like an immortal spirit herb silo. There were all sorts of aged immortal spirit herb, and the stones were at least 5 colored. In 5 days, Yi-Mo got 10s more level 5 immortal spirit herb and a few 5 colored stones. There were large amounts of level 5 immortal spirit beast and bugs at level 5, but none of them were able to find him. At this moment, Yi-Mo felt he was walking on the edge of a blade. Another 7 refined stone appeared before him. Yi-Mo scanned his spirit sense out. Moments later, he was certain there was no danger. A level 5 dual-horned tiger was sleeping. This wasn't the first time he stole stones like this. As long as he got to the stone before the guarding immortal spirit beast woke up and grabbed it, he would be fine. When Yi-Mo was tens of meters away, he suddenly felt things weren't right. Before he could react, an insignificant flower had expanded and eaten him. Immortal devouring flower. Yi-Mo realized immediately. This flower can instantly turn what they devour into nothing. Someone else would probably go into the Golden Page world immediately, but Yi-Mo knew that it would be extremely hard to get out if he went in the Golden Page world. Level 5 immortal devouring flower and its consciousness already. It wasn't good to expose the Golden Page world. Yi-Mo immediately released Heaven Flame 9 Suns. For purple suns circulated around his body, turning him into a huge fireball. Yi-Mo felt that his Heaven Flame seemed to be joyful as though it found something good. The flower let out a sharp howl and instantly withered. Yi-Mo dashed out immediately and ran away. A few hundred km later, Yi-Mo stopped. He rejoiced, not expecting his Heaven Flame to be this powerful, being able to burn level 5 immortal devouring flower. This place was too dangerous. Yi-Mo then started throwing some 7 refined stones into the jade card. It would be bad if he encountered danger and wasn't able to turn the stones into points. As time went on, more and more people were teleported out of the square. The rankings changed rapidly too. As time went on, more and more people were teleported out of the square. The rankings changed rapidly too. But what people didn't expect was blood-robed immortal Shui Qingxian being teleported to the square. He wasn't the most powerful abstruse immortal in Yuan Le Heaven, but he was definitely the most ferocious one. Yet, such a person was teleported. Blood-robed immortal had a strange temper, and his face was bleak. No one dared to ask what happened. As for the two who teamed up with him, they didn't dare to say anything before blood-robed immortal spoke. Two Zone Piao Heaven abstruse immortal, who were forced by him to crush their jade cards, saw blood-robed immortal come out and quickly hid on the side. They didn't know why blood-robed immortal came out, but they didn't dare to say anything. In the VIP room of the square, a few Yuan Le Heaven immortal kings saw Shui Qingxian being teleported out. They didn't have a good face too. To them, the more people they had staying in the tower, the more spots they had going into the Dao-seeking tower. But all the immortal kings were together now, and they couldn't really go out and ask. That 79th team is interesting. They were always second last, and suddenly rose to 36th a month ago. Later on, it rose to 17th. Now, it just rose to 146 points. It's 7th. One gray-robed immortal king laughed. I noticed it too. This team has a strange way of getting points. It seems to wait many days before adding points again. Each time it adds much more points than other teams. This way, this 79th team might really get first. Another immortal king added. I thought it was Yuan Le Heaven Shui Qingxian, but now it doesn't seem so. Which heaven domain is this squad from? That immortal king said, and didn't look at the bad faces of Yuan Le Heaven immortal kings. Everyone knew what he meant. Shui Qingxian liked slaughter. That way he would get the 7 refined stones of others when he killed them and get a lot of points. The immortal kings of weaker heaven domains said nothing. They knew this team definitely wasn't from them. They didn't care about being first. They just wanted a spot in the top 10. That 0 points team still didn't get a single point, and nor was anyone teleported out. I think they all died. One Tang, Yao Heaven Immortal King, mentioned 41's squad. He kept feeling that this squad was related to him. It was very strange indeed. Level 1 of the tower had no threat for an abstruse immortal. How could they not get a single point? Yi Emo left some 7 refined stones and sent the rest all into the jade card. No matter what, he would get a top 10 spot. He didn't know how many points were needed to get into top 10. He was by himself after all. So, he sent in all the stones he could accept for some. Yi Emo didn't wander around freely after being devoured by the immortal devouring flower. That was level 5. What if it was a level 6 or level 7? He might not even be alive. After calming down, Yemo remembered that after releasing Heaven Flame 9 Suns, his Heaven Flame sent an emotion of excitement. Was there something near there that could help Heaven Flame evolve? Or was there a material for Mist Lotus Heart Fire to Nirvana? Thinking about this, Yemo's heart grew excited. He even wanted to run back there and check, but he didn't lose his mind. The fight with the flower definitely woke up that dual-horned tiger. Going over there again was suicide. He didn't dare to fight the tiger at all. Even if they were evenly matched, who knows if suddenly a vine would pop out from below him and drag him away. Yi Emo thought carefully when he released Heaven Flame. There was nothing by immortal devouring flowers. If there must be something, it would be 7 refined stone? Yi Emo was shook. He was almost certain it was 7 refined stone. When he got the first 7 refined stone, he felt there was a fire element inside. Thinking about this, Yi Emo grew excited. He immediately set up a stealth formation and went into the Golden Page world. Yi Emo immediately released Mist Lotus Heart Fire and took out a 5-colored stone. As soon as he did, Mist Lotus Heart Fire jumped in excitement. Yi Emo carefully sent the stone to Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Before Yi Emo could react, the mist lotus heart fire swept the 7 refined stone away. Immediately, the mist lotus heart fire jumped around, and its temperature rose again. The flame's color kept changing too. "What is this?" Yemo dazed for a moment and immediately grew excited. He could tell that mist lotus heart fire was undergoing nirvana. He had never been able to find something for heaven flame nirvana, but now the 7 refined stone was it. A 5-color one could allow mist lotus heart fire to nirvana. Then what about 6 and even 7-colored ones? In his joy, Yemo kept throwing 5-color stones into the rolling purple heaven flame. Yemo didn't know how many stones were needed for mist lotus heart fire to succeed. After he threw all of his stones in, he realized he didn't have that many. He began to worry, what if nirvana failed? Seeing the rolling flames, Yemo stopped throwing in 7 refined stones. He only had lower than 5-colored ones now. If nirvana failed, he could only use blue like morning sky. Because of Chi Nyenmei's, or his blue like morning sky is purple now, but it was a very faint purple. Yemo didn't plan to use ordinary materials to nirvana blue like morning sky. He didn't get this flame easy. It's very rare, and one has to get the flame's recognition to own it. Yemo decided that if he couldn't find astral flame marrow, he wouldn't nirvana blue like morning sky. He would either not have it or have the best. A day later, the mist lotus heart fire calmed down and turned into a purple flame floating in his hand. Yemo looked at the surroundings of this flame in shock. There was a faint golden ring around it. The second golden ring was also visible sometimes. Mist lotus heart fire not only succeeded, but was also about to reach purple nirvana level 2. This 7 refined stone gave Yemo too much surprise. Feeling mist lotus heart fire that was many times stronger than before, Yemo couldn't help exclaiming. It was too powerful. After looking at the flame for a long while, Yemo put it away. He finally understood what the 7 refined stones were for. No wonder the tournament was to gather 7 refined stones. With this thing being this powerful, Yemo wasn't going to keep sending it into his jade card. No matter how dangerous it wasn't going to stop Yemo from seeking 7 refined stones. He was already imagining his heaven flame reaching purple nirvana level 4 and evolving to an immortal flame. Yemo didn't keep wasting time in the golden page world. His main purpose wasn't immortal spirit herb anymore, but 7 refined stones. In the next 2 weeks, Yemo gathered 7 refined stones at level 5 like crazy. Sometimes, even if there wasn't a sleeping level 5 immortal spirit beast, he would go steal it. He was injured a few times and almost eaten a few times. Luckily, his powerful 5-element mobility and stealth cultivation method saved his life again and again. When Yemo found the entrance to level 6, he already had 32 5-colored stones. Yemo was very careful. Even though he was at the entrance to level 6, he stealthed himself carefully. Those who could come in level 5 weren't necessarily strong. Even the strongest abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to dominate level 5. Yemo was very careful. Even though he was at the entrance to level 6, he stealthed himself carefully. Those who could come in level 5 weren't necessarily strong. Even the strongest abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to dominate level 5. Those who could come in were very good at stealth, just like him. His stealth cultivation method wasn't something ordinary people could have. Yemo didn't really believe there would be other people here except for him. But when he saw a black figure dashing past at the entrance to level 6, he realized he had underestimated people. That black figure was definitely an abstruse immortal, and his speed seemed faster than his. Yemo didn't move and just stared at that person, wanting to know who it was. That abstruse immortal stealth cultivation method is very good as well. Even Yemo could only faintly see a figure. 10 seconds later, after a level 5 iron footbear passed, that figure showed itself. Yemo thought it would be someone from a big heaven domain, But when he saw who that person was, he realized it was an abstruse immortal from Zongpiao heaven. Yi Mo only knew his name, seemed to be Mangyong. Yi Mo remembered this guy because his moves were clean when he challenged. He could actually come to level 5 alone. It was clear that he either left his team behind or he was the only one left. On top of that, Mangyong had a red mark on his forehead. Mangyong didn't see Mo. He waited for the bear to pass and immediately dug out the 2 stone essence fruit nearby and changed the direction before leaving. He didn't go to level 6 entrance. Yi Mo didn't call Mangyong, he had his own business. After reaching level 6 of the tower, Yi Mo immediately stealthed himself. He knew that most of the immortal spirit beast here were level 6 immortal spirit beast. He didn't have any chances of victory against them. Yi Mo's carefulness was useful. As soon as he hid, tens of thousands of level 5 gold-sucking ants flew by. With ants of such level, it would be useless even if he used Heaven Flame 9 Suns and all of his immortal essence. After the ants flew past, Yi Mo finally felt the dense immortal spirit chi of level 6. He was certain that if he took out Time Formation Disc to cultivate now, it would be on par with the immortal well. However, Yi Mo didn't have the time to do so, nor did he dare to. Level 6 immortal spirit herb were higher level and more precious. Yi Mo even found more than 10 3-leaf Jialan. He moved them all to his golden page world without hesitation. In the Qing Mo city, 2 great extreme immortal fought over just one, and now he got more than 10. Other than this, he got more of Su Ling, 7-heart mushrooms. Su Ling was just a level 5 immortal spirit herb, but it was the best ingredient to concoct Extreme Dusk Pill. Extreme Dusk Pill could increase the chances of breaking into Great Extreme Immortal. So, it was worth more than ordinary level 6 immortal spirit herb. This was Yi Mo sneaking around. He was certain if he walked around openly, he would get much more. Yi Mo was more careful at level 6. He didn't even dare to make any big movements, digging immortal spirit herb, nor did he scan his spirit sense around. However, he felt that level 6 was much smaller than the previous levels. Because Yi Mo moved slower, he was safer than he was at level 5 except for when he stole 7 refined stones. A few days later, Yi Mo found 7 6-colored stones and saw the entrance to level 7. From the bottom of his heart, Yi Mo didn't want to go to level 7. If he had some chance at level 6, he had 0 chance at level 7. But Yi Mo knew that he wouldn't be able to stay at level 6 for long, as 3 months' time was about to be up. Moments later, Yi Mo took out his jade card and held it in his hand while going into the teleportation ray to level 7. He would immediately crush it if there was danger at level 7. As soon as Yi Mo came to level 7, he saw 3 7 refined stones. They were all 7-colored. In his joy, Yi Mo dashed out and took them while scanning his spirit sense out. The first thing he saw was a purple fruit. The fruit has been there for countless years, but there was slivers of Dao radiance. Yi Mo's heart shivered. Pingyu immortal fruit? This was definitely it. It was said that Zhen Bingyu's sect was annihilated for one. Even Yi Mo couldn't control his excitement anymore. With this fruit, it meant he would be able to reach Immortal King for certain. He had to get this. Just when Yi Mo wanted to dash over, a terrifying pressure came and then there was a roar. Immediately, Yi Mo had a sense of despair. He didn't dare to think about the Pengyu immortal fruit anymore. He crushed his jade card without hesitation. Rumble. The instant Yi Mo teleported away, Yi Mo saw his after image being crushed by a claw that was a few stories big. Yi Mo was certain that if that claw landed on him, there wouldn't be any pieces of him left. This was the power of level 7 immortal spirit beast. That terrifying force, pressure, and speed. He wouldn't even have time to go into the golden page world. Yi Mo wasn't disappointed not getting the Pengyu immortal fruit. At least he got 3 7-colored stones. Yi Mo knew he got no points for going into level 7, as he didn't stay there till the end. However, This wasn't the greatest pity. He didn't get anything good from level 7. If he stayed there for just a day, no half a day, he would be rich. At level 4, a blue-dressed female immortal was standing on a huge blue rock. For other abstruse immortals surrounded the stone. This female immortal was Yuan, la Heaven Xian Len Goddess, rank 3rd on the Heaven Immortal ranking. No one was superior than her in use of god art. Xian Goddess, do we not need to search for 7 refined stones anymore? 1 square, faced abstruse immortal asked. Su Qian, we just need to do as she tells us. She wouldn't be mistaken. Another team mate said. Xian Len Goddess smiled. That extreme beauty was amplified in her smile. She didn't move at all, but her immortal temperament made people feel she was flying and dancing. There's 5 minutes until the trial ends. We will be teleported to the square. It's pointless to keep searching for stones now. We were lucky. We found a large bunch of 4-colored 7 refined stones. It should be fine getting top 3. If lucky, we might even get first. Xian Len Goddess's voice was like a dripping clear while making people immersed in her voice. Seeing no one talk as they were all enchanted by her, Xian Len Goddess didn't mind. She had seen this all too frequent. She was thinking this time she could finally crush Sun Ran Goddess under her feet. She had always been on par with Sun Ran Goddess, although she was ranked 3rd, but everyone knew that Sun Ran, who was ranked 4th, was on par with her. The instant Yi Mo came to the square, rays of dashing lights were teleported out too. Yi Mo knew his luck was too bad. As soon as he crushed the jade card, the trial time was over. If only that level 7 immortal spirit beast found him later, and he got the Panyu immortal fruit, things would be perfect. If he was teleported out at the end, he would get 160 more points. But now that was gone. Yi Mo desperately took out the jade card, wanting to know how many points he had. He crushed the outer layer, but the inner layer was still there. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.